Hello? I've adjusted my audio levels so that everything isn't constantly quiet. Hopefully it's better and doesn't sound crunchy or anything. But oh my god, hi, yay. It's of the devil o'clock, it's evil Yuri o'clock. It's also me doing a Junko impression despite not really going to Danganronpa at all. Time. I think Junko is the move for this adjutant. I think that's who she was meant to sound like. I really love the dub voice for Junko. I think it's so funny. Anyway, first trial phase. I have been thinking about Emma and Morgan all week. I am losing my mind. I have been thinking about the fact that all of the Heartbreak Killer victims looked like Emma for the past like 24 hours nonstop. And I feel like our district attorney has not yet pulled out the big guns on us, and I'm a little scared. / pause. Anyway, continuing on with trial. I'm a little nervous because we've not been doing well. We have not been doing well in this trial. We've suffered some pretty heavy penalties. Does it show us how many that we've taken in this section or no? I don't think it has. We'll figure it out later. But moving on. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Dr. Asher. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Who are we cross-examining again? Oh, it was Jess. Okay. Right.
Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but...
Oh wait, that's Morgan. Call me Ace Attorney the way they chased me and I hit the screen. Oh my god. Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but was he well-regarded professionally?
Of course. Dr. Asher's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world.
Stay focused, Spearmint. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever threats? Did people express an intent to harm him?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Intent? And I'm feeling like that's gonna be sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him?
There were times when he was the focus of negative attention.
How so?
Dr. Asher was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all his contributions to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say that his work was plagiarized or that he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology he helped develop.
And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories?
Relevance?
Whether or not people wanted to kill him? Well...
Withdrawn.
Miss Starling?
People would attempt to contact him, yes. But their messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. I can't read. They would say that he belonged in jail or that he couldn't avoid the truth. Or that someone should do something to shut him up.
Did they ever talk about hurting him?
Yes. But, I always turn those messages straight over to the police.
Yeah, I'm seeing that on the record. Yeesh, who writes this stuff?
All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor. And none of the parties involved have had contact with David Asher in years. The police take harassment very seriously.
Something you want to add, Counselor? Just clearing my throat. May I continue? You worked with Dr. Asher for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns?
Sure, we've gone out to dinner or met on the weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed relationship advice a lot. Even if he didn't realize that that's what he was asking for. I'd like to think that he knew he could talk to me, but...
Did he ever talk to you or, to your knowledge, anyone else about hurting himself?
God, no, never.
Do you know of any history he might have had with mental illness? Depression, anxiety?
No.
So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Asher had done this to himself...
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it.
You're saying that you can't believe...
Objection.
Ooh, okay, music. Okay, music. On what grounds?
Asked and answered. Stalling. And also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court in this matter.
Juicy! And what matter specifically are you referring to? Is that Alexa? I mean, it's all bot.
The deceased's mental health history.
Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about?
We have private correspondences that describe...
If they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission.
He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're well within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime.
Convincing! Damn, I didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence into the record. But I was hoping to at least slow her. Where are you on that footage?
77%. Approximately.
I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can. Even if that means running out the clock as a punching bag.
I have here messages between Dr. Asher and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year. Along with paperwork detailing how this treatment was covered under his platinum plan.
I do actually want to go back and look at Starling's testimony that we got. Oh, that's really short. Oh no. Testifies that David Asher had experienced harassment and stalking from conspiracy theorists throughout his career at Noble. Okay, it's good to have that. Platinum plan. The Caduceus Platinum insurance policy in David Asher's name used to schedule and pay for psychiatric appointments on several occasions in the last year. Fuck.
Platinum. I don't intend to air all of Dr. Asher's secrets here in the court.
Oh, okay, I guess.
But I am prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls, which when put together paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Asher was experiencing, and the dark thoughts he was struggling with.
Transcripts of his phone calls.
I'll admit them into evidence, assuming there are no objections.
There's something strange about this evidence. There's nothing strange yet. There's something strange here. I'll gladly object. On the grounds of foundation. Where did you say you got this?
It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt its authenticity.
Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan, not a platinum plan? I was gonna say. Yeah, okay. Our blind is minus 13.
Really?
Really? Yes, really. It's all there in the record. This is... Please say outdated. Oh my god, please say that it's outdated.
This is easily explained. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him. And he was also seeing the psychiatrist, both in person and over the phone. Your own witness has attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. So it's easy enough to reason that he had a separate insurance policy he paid for on his own.
Why would you do that?
Even if only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp.
No, like, I understand wanting to do that practically. Does that make sense? Sure, easy enough to make that assumption. But that doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide the psychiatrist from Noble spying? No, he was smarter than that. Okay. In his testimony, drank with David before he died, didn't see him add anything. That's not it. Oh my god, I wish the selecting was better on this, unfortunately. It's always freaking out. Evaluation, estimation of Sarah's financial value, worth a lot of zeros. Recorded calls, all building calls recorded, monitored by Noble.
Died from respiratory failure, unknown substance in blood. And if David had psych treatments from Noble. Music box. That's not it. Let me go back to... Is his insurance plan in here? Emergency console. Oh. Used to schedule and pay for psychiatric appointments on several occasions last year. We already wrote that. That doesn't help. The only known android made by David Asher. Totals to a very large sum. I think that's it. Calls recorded monitored by Noble. Yeah, all of his calls are monitored, and she's saying that he did like telehealth, both in person and over the phone. Yeah, no, all of his calls are monitored. Maximum fuck it. High roller mode, baby. Got it. I'm doing that right. Hold on. David may very well have wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who'd have his best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone. Not when he knew all his phone calls were being recorded. Look at her, look at, she's so cutesy and not evil or twisted or anything. That's... David Asher was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Do you really think he would try and hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? Apparently, yes. Since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. She's just like me. Does it, though? Pardon me? Yeah, like, what exactly are you suggesting, counselor? Still not done decrypting? Well, it's difficult to... Right. What the hell? Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor. And I would never make outlandish, unsubstantiated claims just for the sake of causing drama. What are you? I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. What? If the markets were to open Monday with people believing that David Asher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months? Objection, mischaracterization, foundation, all the rest? There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, counselor, and there are no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Asher was... Sorry, I love the adjective. Oh, thank God. Woo, you a lawyer, Yuri. David Asher was a once-in-a-generation intellect and an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employers' many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. Because he's dead. And he was also your personal... You shouldn't even be here arguing this case in the first place, counselor. Now you're trying to call the police's evidence gathering into question. All because you can't admit that for the past several months, your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday and you didn't know. That is... sorry, but like, did you still need me up here? The witness will... Oh my God. The witness will
refrain from interrupting when the girls are fighting?
Yes, ma'am.
I love her. I love the adjutant. I love her so much. The girls are fighting. Oh my god. With how my luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. And Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. Oh no! Oh no, the district attorney is getting mad. Oh no, whatever shall I do? I don't want to see that happen, no. I'd be happy to wrap up my questioning if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. Make it worse, Morgan, please.
And my evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the record?
I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding.
That's fine, Your Honor. As you were, Counselor.
At this stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I can probably only make one more question. Better make it count. So what can Starling tell us that no one else could? If she hadn't called me this morning, I wouldn't be standing here, and she only did that because... Miss Starling, we're all gathered here to try and figure out what happened to Dr. Asher last night. Hold on, let me clean my glasses. They are slightly smudged, and I would like to see the evil lawyer, Yuri, with as clear vision as possible. So please tell us, when exactly did he last see you, contact you, meet you at HQ? Ooh, nervous. She hadn't seen him in person since... Like, there was a gap between when she last saw him, I'm pretty sure. If I remember correctly, where is Jess's statement? Jess Starling, anywhere? Starling's testimony. Nope, that's not it. When did you last see him? Recorded call, Sarah evaluation, Starling's testimony. Fuck. Is this it? No, this is Helen. Ooh, 62. Profiles, articles, evidence. Hopefully, what if we go customize their phones? Fuck, when did you last see him? I wish we could see it in profiles. I know that we can't, but... Damn, I think there was a gap, though, so I want to go with that. Because he contacted her, I think, more recently, but in person, they didn't see each other. When was the last time that he and you... Problem, Counselor? I only get one chance here. I can't waste it on frivolous questions. Just doing a vocal exercise. Uh-huh. Take all the time you need. Thanks so much. What a sweetheart. Unlike me. Duly noted. Okay, I think it's meet you at HQ. God damn it. When exactly did you last meet you at HQ? Fuck, that's the wrong one again, isn't it? Damn it. Okay, contact you it is. I haven't played this game in a week. It's being mean to me. Yuri time! Hi, Sina. When was the last time you had contact with Dr. Asher, Miss Starling? Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... Yeah, it was last night at 6:57 p.m. We texted back and forth. There are records of some texts, but they're flagged as work-related. Does the court really think they're relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? The texting isn't relevant. The texting makes a big difference. It probably makes a big difference. It could very well be the single most important piece of evidence in this whole trial. Okay, that's a lot, Morgan. That's not what I meant. What? I just got chills. Don't know why, though. Must be a coolant leak. The defense doesn't know what they're talking about. On the contrary, those texts are a vital piece of evidence that changed the timeline of events as we know them. We know what- oh, wait, yeah, does it fit in that gap? We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking. Hold on, I need to check when these were timestamped. 6:57. I think that's in that window we were looking for. David asked her to set up a meeting between the two of them and the two of them and Evangeline Morgan on Tuesday to handle transfership of the ownership for the android Sarah. Unless he knew he was going to be killed, but that was... Okay, hold on. Where is the timeline of events? It's probably in Jung's testimony, right? My just woke up post-nap brain can't handle the music change in hype level. The hype level is crazy with these tracks. 7:30 until 8:03. Damn, that's too late. I got the hour wrong. But the order of events is critical, especially if Emma wants to make claims of David's state of mind. Oh, I'm scared. I don't think I know. Let's return to undo the last card you placed in. Fill all the slots to submit your answer. Ooh. Okay. Porter. Oh, right. The breakup happened. Hold on. Where the fuck? What was in that call? Isaac's call. 6:29 to 6:36. That timing doesn't work. He was on the phone. $6:29 to 6:36. Hold on. What time? 6:57. Oh shit. Okay, so Isaac's call was first. And then you texted at 6:57. Then she drank with him, and then David passed out. Yes, that's it. Thanks to Miss Starling, we've now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. I should have increased the... Damn it. I thought it was gonna ask me to confirm before clicking. It's fine. Now we know. We know that Isaac Porter and David Asher broke up at 6:30 p.m. And I was rooting for them so hard. And we know that David messaged his assistant, Miss Starling, at 6:57. David is on camera with the witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And he was declared dead not long after. The people don't object to that timeline of events, but we do question Counselor Morgan's reason for belaboring it. One last question, Miss Starling.
Yeah?
What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Asher?
Well, actually, we talked about you. And how he wanted you to have his android. That android there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess.
It might appear that way. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done?
Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you get set up as the android's new owner.
Yes, Miss Starling, but when did he want this to happen?
Well, he said it was pretty urgent, and so I should do it first thing Tuesday morning.
Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning. David Asher didn't like doing anything on Mondays. And was he going to be in attendance?
Well, actually, yes. He said he would work from home to help us.
No way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to...
Oh.
To summarize that, half an hour after he had already had his breakup and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday?
That's right, he was.
Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying that very night.
Yeah, you're right.
I was hoping we would bring this up way earlier. He was making plans and then killed himself? Like, that doesn't make sense. Your Honor, if David Asher was preparing for the week ahead, a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think the people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined? Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal? If the court would just allow a moment. Sounds like an opening to me. If we assume that Dr. Asher was not suicidal and therefore did not kill himself, we must then ask ourselves who had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life. Until now, we've taken for granted the idea that the Delta must have come from his manufacturer, from inside the house.
I don't know.
Not right now. But even if that's true, which it may not be, that doesn't mean he was the one who used the nanofacturer. She just got the footage back and it totally shows him using the nanofacturer, doesn't it? I don't know. Would you allow me one moment to confer, Your Honor? Sure, why not throw away your momentum? I'm in the middle of something, Sarah. I can't afford to let Rockford.
I've gained access to the hard drive's files.
What? I love the little plonk noise. It's so funny to me. Seriously?
As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate.
Right, okay. Do you have the footage from last night?
I have the file.
Have you watched it?
I thought you'd want to know right away.
Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this has our silver bullet and we've got a case, or it doesn't and everything falls apart. Yeah, that's fair.
That seems quite risky.
It's the least risky path to victory we have. Seeing how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it. Upload it to the court computer. I would review that first, Morgan.
Yes, Adonai.
Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. She's asleep.
Your Honor?
I'm awake. And I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast.
You're submitting security footage into evidence?
New security footage? The police corroborated the witness's testimony using the house's cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as part of the penumbra system that showed the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system.
You... what?
The people say that the Delta must have been in Dr. Asher's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him or anyone else putting anything in his cup on camera.
Because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera.
Exactly.
What?
That's the only possible explanation, that he added the Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the nanofacturer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, and then walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present to the court footage retrieved from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cups in his basement, it was already past 7:38. Meaning he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself. Morgan, watch the footage first. One clip of footage will prove all that? If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Oh my god. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust. So better be the Joker who dances. Better to be the Joker who dances. I can't fucking read. The data has been entered into the court record. Sarah, show us when Dr. Asher entered the basement.
Yes, Adonai. I'll search for it now. Here.
On screen. That's the bar, and the timestamp is 7:36. There. David's grabbing the bottle of Rose River. And leaving. At 7:37. Just under the wire, as it were. Is that it, then? I came this far just to... Wait. Did he have the cups with him? Is there sound? None at all. Fucking course there isn't. Keep going. If he had to go back to get the cups... Counselor? What's that android doing on camera? What is that android doing on camera, girl? It's at the bar. The android gave him the cups. Shit. That machine never stepped on camera upstairs, not once. We don't know its whereabouts the day of its death. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted. Shit.
What is this? I don't understand. Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared.
Understood.
Please, someone. I don't know what's going on.
Sarah, you need to shut down.
Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have callers available?
Sarah, shut down now.
I don't know, please tell me what
That's an order. she can cry. Oh, she looks so serene and sleepy. Oh, it was so terrifying a second ago, but look at her face. She looks so serene and sleepy and nice right now. Man. Is it off? Yeah, it's off. I've seen this before. I won't do anything and it won't do anything until I reactivate it. We don't know that. We don't know anything about this anymore. That's... Your Honor. In light of this most recent evidence, the people would like to withdraw their charges against Dr. Asher and end this preliminary hearing. It has been made abundantly clear that David Asher did not commit suicide. Very well, the charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. Well, as free as he can be in the afterlife. This case is dismissed. Congratulations, Counselor Morgan! We're opening up with a hollow victory for our first trial. Yay, talk up another victory for Morgan Esquire. All I have to do is deal with the shitstorm of the decade. Well, I feel insane. I feel insane. Oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry. But also close enough. Welcome back, Maya Faye. I managed to prove that David didn't kill himself. And in the process, I proved that his android did. I proved that the android that's been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. Time adds. A killer robot. A true, unbound AI with military-grade specs and at least one death to its name already. So much for avoiding the public eye. Oh shit, we got a human judge.
Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Judge Barrows.
Huh. As if I'm doing you some kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. This isn't some bad joke, is it, Miss Rockford?
I'm afraid not, Your Honor.
You know, I like the adjutants. I always have. They deal with the criminal trials so that bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all day typing up arguments for obscure legal treatises. That's what I like to do. Judge Barrows. Ooh, okay. Superior Judge of the Higher Circuit. Likes air conditioning, espresso, and reclining chairs. So true. Dislikes parking lots, noise pollution, and mud. Also true. Avoids overspending on restaurants. Me as hell. Splurges on expensive hotels. Really funny. Always with the blood type. Yeah, blood type's important. Watching action movies is how she relaxes. I was gonna say blood type is also funny in the case of blood type UAD. Yeah. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all this heavy-handedness. Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the pure... Oh my god, I can't read. Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the poor bureaucrats? And I certainly don't like making rulings on anything as spicy as AI.
She can barely bring herself to say it.
And you, Counselor Morgan, you're the one it's registered to?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So what did it do, exactly? Torture an animal? Shut down a hospital? Crash a coin market?
We have it on camera poisoning a man.
That's a little far.
Killing its creator.
We have it on camera handing a man 2 solo cups. You mean Dr. Asher? That is... We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. All we can do is try to wrap it up quickly. Let's make haste. Adjutant, do you have the case number? Whoa, that's against Asimov's laws. Yeah, we didn't briefly touch on it. I read about it for a while. All robots do not legally require the following of Asimov's laws anymore. They used to, and then people realized that's not enough regulations, and then a Supreme Court decision was made to say that actually that's too many. Where is it actually? Yeah, in this world building, they're referred to as tenets. Yeah, tenets were first adopted in the field of computer science as a trio three priorities that governed how preserving human life, obeying human commands, and avoiding damage to human property should be prioritized. But also Asimov's laws suck. That's the point of every Asimov book, real. Yeah, usually the tenet that a android has is between 3 and 30, I believe. Yeah, and I think this is very fun. The idea that the original, like the first law of robotics was called Tenet 0 or Tenet 1, and it got added as like a good luck charm or like a joke. It's just like, oh, this is a cute thing that we do to androids these days because nobody uses it anymore. Yeah. Let's make haste. Adjutant, do you have the case number? Case ID is 241277A. Docket number, I don't want to read all that. Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that? No. Did she say the same number twice even? 94418282. That's really great world building. The world building in this is crazy. It's so good. I think I lost you after the first 8. That's too many 7s. I have it copied here. And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature? A data quarantine is to be established around any networks the subject was exposed to for more than 66 seconds. All offending hardware is to be destroyed immediately through incineration at a minimum temperature of 3,422 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Sorry, Spearmint. There's nothing to be done. No debate to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah. Sorry, Sarah, not Spearmint. David gave you that name. I should at least make the effort to use it. That sounds very hot. Do we have furnaces that get that hot? Of course! There are a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits that I could recommend. Sorry? Why should I be sorry anyway? I fulfilled the request. Favor repaid. I don't owe Sarah anything. Especially not if it killed my friend. Right, Morgan? I'm sorry? I was just saying how grateful I am that we already have the procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already. Yep, keeps things nice and simple. It can feel somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest threat to human civilization and the sanctity of life there's ever been. Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel. If it can violate the tenets it was programmed with, it has the potential to cripple our nation in a matter of moments. That is the other thing. Sarah specifically, this android, has theoretically, Actually, she doesn't. So she has hacking technology built into her. So theoretically, she is a military-grade robot. Like, she has physical combat abilities, and she can hack other androids to, like, break their tenets. It was floated by that, wait, could she destroy her own tenets? Could she break against the rules programmed into her? And it was concluded no. So this is not true, I'm pretty sure. Yes, couldn't have said it better myself. Straight from the textbook, almost. Well, I mean it. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. They should never have been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. Yeah, you're talking about Sarah right now, girl. I believe you. And if anyone's to blame, it's... No one's blaming you, counselor. You couldn't have known you were in possession of an AI. I'm talking too much. Probably just tired. It's been a long day, and I've had a lot of thoughts. Oh, but she looks so cute. Sorry, Sarah. Whatever you are. You were just born wrong. Not your fault, necessarily. Oh my god! So those kicked in, actually, from the Stranger Than Heaven collab. Jeez, that scared me. 10 free gift subs, let's go! Thank you, GameSite, for those. Jump scared me. But yay! Yay, thank you so much, Game Site, for the gift subs. Oh my god. I was gonna say, I haven't seen my chat light up like that in quite a while. Oh my god. Yay, thank you so much, though. Yay, yippee, yay. Now let's get back to killing this android. If it were up to me, you'd get points for trying. Trying to be something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you are. It was stupid, of course. And futile. And pointless. Spending hours in front of a TV or laying in bed staring at your phone. Watching stupid movies and trying to paper mache an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of magazines. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines and trying to get something to take root and grow despite knowing it'd have nothing to feed on. Stupid. Morgan? What was that, counselor? I said objection. And what are you objecting to? What are you doing, Morgan? I'm a defense attorney. This is what I do. I understand you've been through a lot these past few hours, counselor, but there's nothing to defend. On the contrary, Your Honor. I have to defend myself. Pardon? You say that this android, Sarah, is an AI because it broke its tenets. Go, Morgan, get him! Obviously. And you believe it broke its tenets because of this newly discovered footage that appears to show it committing murder via poison. All true and no laws broken on your part. Here it comes. Never thought I'd be incriminating myself in the courtroom just to make a point. Don't you dare try and entrap me on this. Sarah's papers proves ownership of Sarah found inside panic room. Handgun. Recent purchase more bugged than a picnic. Describes David's employment and fireable offenses like fraud. Okay, I'm gonna save because I'm nervous, and then I'm gonna go through. I think I know what it is. I think what it is Sarah's papers, but I'm gonna read over them again. Where are they? Sarah's papers. Written document declaring that Evangeline Morgan is to be given absolute ownership of the android Sarah effective immediately. Signed over 2 weeks ago. I'm late. Welcome in. You're not terribly late. We're about to do crazy shit. We've been her owner for 2 weeks, even if we didn't know. We're responsible for her, right? Is that what we're doing? Good lord. Morgan. Lol. Pretty simple, actually. If the state is making the claim that Sarah is an AI, they're accusing me of committing a felony. Because I'm the legal owner of that android. What the hell are you doing? Yeah, you missed Morgan realizing she likes Sarah and seeing herself in the android. Oof. And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that lying down. I know my rights. Counselor, your argument is self-defeating. Listen to yourself, counselor. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Such a good hook. Ooh, I'm so excited. The girls are fighting again. You claim Sarah is just an android, a product that will be obsolete within a year. But you've only known it for a few hours. You've only owned it for a matter of minutes. And yet here you are, risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished. Because you're wrong. And I know you wouldn't care. Yay, oh my god, thank you for the gift sub-induced hype train. Oh my god, that was so neat. I was gonna say, we got a funky emote out of it. Hee hee. I was gonna say, fitting for the Heartbreak Killer. Not unless this android was something special. Look at us. Me arguing that I'm guilty and Emma arguing that I'm a softie. It'd be funny if it wasn't so fun. You think there's no reason I'd want to save this android from destruction, other than feelings of personal attachment? Alright. It's not about my feelings. Guys, no, it's not about my feelings. It's about cold hard facts. Sarah's papers. I was gonna say, we can't just say Sarah's papers again, can we? Because the papers say that we've technically owned her for 2 weeks. David experienced harassment? No. Starling and David texted 6:57 on Friday. Oh, the money! She's expensive. Right. Okay, what's the last one? Oh, that is the last one? Yeah, she is expensive. We know this. You have no reason to care. The money, girl. But I'm scared, so I'm gonna check one more time. Sarah evaluation, very expensive. Takes into account the fact that Sarah is the only known android. Totals to a very large sum. Yeah, I'm putting all my money on that. God, the music's so good. It's all about the money, Emma. Oh my god, I almost clicked the wrong one. Jeez. This selection is going to kill me somewhere absolutely crucial one day. And I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Evaluation. Estimation of Sarah's financial value. Okay, good. I can think about at least one reason why I don't want you to turn Sarah into slag. One very convincing reason. Or very convincing number. What is that? That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market. I find it very, very funny that we just don't ever get the number. Both for, like, we're not gonna have a sense of scale for the money in this world, and because it's kind of funnier to just not have an actual number. Gotta be. I got it from an insurance evaluation algorithm. They're designed to lowball you. That does seem like a reasonable incentive for you to want to keep your android intact. It's a free country, Your Honor. I have a right to defend myself. And we have a free market, so I have a responsibility to defend my financial interests. Your Honor, a trial like this would be... I'm not going to let you turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half-decade bringing in expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinctions between AI and ads. Spiraling into appeal after appeal, all while the media... This machine appears to have willfully killed a man. Public needs answers now. Of course, Your Honor. I have neither the desire nor the resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect. So, the state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of its tenets, so they want to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove that my machine didn't harm anyone, so the state will have no reason to suspect it's an AI, and I'll get to keep my property. Part is that this is a nondescript country, but most agree America. It's that or Japan. America makes the most sense to me. Don't be cute. I feel a stomach ulcer coming on. Fine. You'll have your day in court, but it'll be one day tomorrow. Prove that this machine didn't kill Dr. Asher. No, prove that it couldn't have killed him. Anything less than absolute proof, and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you'll also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest you'll have enabled. Yes, Your Honor. D.A. Rockford, what I'm asking of you is just as heavy. Find the truth by the end of tomorrow. We can't settle for anything else. This is scratching the Edgeworth and Van Zeek's itch of the prosecutor actually super getting in trouble, especially at the end of 2-3 in Great Ace Attorney, where they're just like, hey, prosecution, you lost because your case sucked. This is your fault. Win or lose, there can be no doubts about the outcome of this case. Yes, Your Honor. And now I need to go lie down. Can I come? You can power down. Morgan? Hmm? I misjudged you. At what point? Whenever I wrote you off as a small-time defense attorney just trying to tread water... That is so sweet of you to say, Emma. There's layers to you. You've got backbone. Teeth, even. I have to... hello? I gotta go. Oh my god, I think I have COVID. I have to leave. What? You're gonna make me blush. People talk about your kind like you're boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorneys wouldn't know a cyberpunk if it walked up to them on the street and shot him. Meanwhile, you've just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging the state's authority. They're so cute together. Yeah, that's how I'd describe it. Ooh, I just knocked something over. Oh, that's... I don't know if that sound came across. That was me knocking something over into my Ace Attorney Eat-A-Bag, which is a full backpack covered in pins. But yeah, cute. That's how I describe it. Why? Not sure exactly. For David? Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well... I think it's all the moralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that, you'll hear no complaint from me. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. Ideas can't be evil. I guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. Whatever else I get up to. I don't want to stand with the book burners of the world. You're more high-minded than I realized. You sure you're in the right line of work? Can't see myself doing anything else. Good luck, Morgan. There's book burners on all sides these days. I talked a big game just now, but I'm in an even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit, no matter what. We have done an entire trial phase, and I could not even begin to guess who the culprit is. Homicide office. Oh my god, are we gonna go see our friends? That's the danger noise. So is that door locked? Yeah, of course. Even though they've got it collared? It's precaution. If the collar doesn't work, what good would a deadbolt do? Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Can't have Schrodinger's cat if the box isn't closed. Alright, let's go look at what collar means, though I have a pretty good guess. Restraint designed to impede movement and prohibit the use of mods throughout the body. Oh. It's for people, not for androids only. Okay. While collars appear technologically advanced from the outside, designers' concerns about hacking vulnerabilities and the growing complexity of consumer-grade mods led them to opt for a surprisingly simple method of restraint. Collars contain a specially designed electromagnet that, once clasped around the neck, interferes with spinal neural transmission. That is exactly what I was expecting that it did when they said it was mods, preventing mod users from sending commands to any implanted tech below the neck. But some people have above-the-neck mods. Yeah, I was gonna say right there. Hold on. Powerful, simple, cost-effective. Collar use is widespread through law enforcement, military, and private security organizations. With the onset of above-the-neck modding in recent years, the continued relevance of collars as a means of meaningfully inhibiting a wearer's mod usage have been called into question. Newer designs have been proposed that utilize microneedle clusters. Okay, but concerns about the sanitary upkeep, required for such invasive restraints have stymied product development cycles. Yeah, that does sound gross. Whew, okay. Oh, now we don't have all those penalties anymore because the trial day has ended. We made it. So long as the door is locked, who can say whether there's a national crisis on the other side of it? So how scared are they? Higher-ups? Not sure scared is the right word. It's just the two of us here. You don't have to mind their ego. No, I mean it. I think they're bloodthirsty. I have a right to defend myself, don't I? I doubt they're even looking at you, Tiger. It's Noble who will be at the center of a bloodbath when the markets reopen tomorrow. Oh, right, we're concerned about the markets reopening. You think they're gonna go after Noble? Break their monopoly? I think they want to take their monopoly. Where'd he go? Nationalize the android industry? Ooh. The act of absorbing a corporation or the industry into the government. Shifting authority and profits to the state and restructuring the business model to function as a part of the bureaucracy. Ugh. The nuclear option for sovereign nations. It's mostly used as a threat, a tool of deterrence against corporate misconduct, monopolies, or corruption. During periods of severe economic depression or hyperinflation, wow. Nationalization is considered a valid way of forcefully stabilizing the market, even if doing so risks flaming the tempers of those who operate within it. Many governments made liberal use of nationalization during the late 2050s through the 2060s in an effort to keep energy and food prices from fluctuating out of control. I love this hypothetical hell world, guys. It's so fantastical and creative. How did they come up with this? The 2070s saw most of those countries reverse course. Industries were opened back up in a free auction model where every citizen was given a share to trade or sell as they pleased, but this contentious process was plagued with accusations of government corruption, cartel intimidation, and disinformation campaigns. I was gonna say, I also have been thinking about the fact that is the word disinformation instead of misinformation, making it sound like it's as if common people are on a regular basis trying to poison your brain against the state. Just got back from eating meringue covered brownies. What have you missed, chat? Ha 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 ha. Nothing. Everything's so chill and good, guys. I don't have COVID and everything is cool. Okay. The global trend back towards privatization gave rise to a new rich, sometimes derisively referred to as the neobility. Oh no, is it she sees herself in the android thing? Oh boy, does she. She sees herself in the android and is pretending she doesn't. Some liberal economists have since criticized this period of deregulation as being poorly planned and executed in haste, contributing to the record highs of wealth inequality we see today, leaving many governments loath to attempt nationalization again, and thus shifting the global balance of power further towards multinational corporations. Ew. I interpreted that as the wealthy using disinformation to buy shares of industry from individuals on the cheap. Yeah, I agree. It's just other articles that we've been reading have been on the side of the state and on the side of corporations and have still used the word disinformation and been like, oh, watch out for disinformation and people trying to disinform you. It's a very a fear-mongery thing is what it comes across as to me. You know? Using disinformation to buy shares of industry or individual. Yeah. I think it's both true. Yeah. It's one of those things of one political leaning will start using a term and then it gets absorbed into just the general vernacular of the time period. Yeah, I do think just the use of the devs of the word disinformation over misinformation is both a good choice to make it seem a little bit more futuristic, in the way that 1984 has its own vocabulary. I need to reread 1984 now that I'm a grown adult. Yeah, deliberate misinformation. It makes it sound more deliberate. Is the main thing that I'm going for, because misinformation is neutral in how active it is, I guess. It's a more passive word. But yeah, going back to the 1984 thing, like 1984 has its own vocabulary and its own like pattern of speech and vernacular, but you can figure it out, right? Like thought crime is from 1984, and it's like, oh, it is a crime that you were thinking something, right? Like you can figure out how this etymologically happened. You can get to that endpoint, or like Hunger Games with propos, the like propaganda promotions. Like you can figure out how they got to using that term as their usual term, and I really like that. And it doesn't sound too out there. It sounds like a plausible like way that language would evolve, and I really like it. If the public thinks Noble's been experimenting with AI, they couldn't ask for a better excuse. I also think episode 0 talked about this a little bit, but they use AI specifically as a derogatory term, even though, and this kind of happens like now too, even AI is used as a derogatory term, even though like the term artificial intelligence is a very broad one. And like, even if you talk about like scary, bad, evil AI, the way that we think of it, not even necessarily just generative AI, but like in this science fiction world, if we think AI, like all of the androids, every ad in this universe would fit under that, but they don't want to call it that because it's a big scary word that nobody likes. The judge didn't even want to say it. And so I like that it's become that the colloquial use of AI in this universe is a derogatory term only. You're joking. The state has done it plenty of times before. Not since the 60s. Which wasn't that long ago for me. For the state, it's practically yesterday. So the same state that tells us to be terrified of AIs lurking on the old net or biding their time in forgotten satellites sees all this as nothing more than an opportunity. Well, they do genuinely want to incinerate the thing as soon as possible. Past experience just tells me that they'll want to gain something while they're at it. Here's what I don't get. Why is this a debate? An argument? A trial? Can't we just hook it up to a court computer, see if it has the tenets or not? Pop the hood, as they say. Who says that? Lots of people used to say it. Well, for start, I like that too. Like, people don't use cars anymore. Like, people don't have to pop the hood on a car anymore. It's like when people say hang up the phone nowadays, but you don't have to hang up phones anymore. Many things. This game is good. I like language. Well, for starters, they're all scared to death about a contagion. They figure anything they let an AI connect to, they can't trust. And why the collar? Collars are too simple to hack. Just a really strong electromagnet held in place with lock and key. Even so, feels like we should be able to build some kind of machine, some kind of test. Something a little more sophisticated than the same reasoning that they had at the witch trials. Burn them all and let God sort out the rest. You got any polygraphs here at the station? Lie detectors? Yeah, I got a bunch back in storage. Ocular, heart rate, perspiration, brain scan, take your pick. Those... Okay. You're not gonna try and use one of those on the bot, are you? Are we gonna bring up the fact that polygraphs are not generally considered to be accurate? What I'm hoping this is that polygraphs do not actually tend to be very accurate. I'm pretty sure you can't, really use them as strong evidence. But I'm really hoping that what it is that there's something similar to a heart rate that an android has. Or something similar depending on what machine Morgan picks. But I want it to be the heart rate for themes and such. But I'm hoping it's like androids emit like certain pulses or something and we can measure that. All those fancy lie detectors lying around, the DA's office never asked for them, do they? Nope. Now we get perps who offer to take a test when they're at wit's end, but the DAs never submit the results as evidence. Yeah, they're like not valid. You ever wonder why? Guess I always figured it was because the test could be beaten. Yeah, easily. The tests can be beaten. 1 out of 100, 9 out of 1,000. It can be done. Some people are just that good at lying.
But it doesn't really matter how good the tech gets or how impressive the statistics are. All that matters is the doubt. Oh, okay. People decide whether you're lying or telling the truth long before they hook you up to a polygraph. If the results don't match their initial impression, then it must be a fluke, a 1 in a million chance. They'll never trust a machine more than their own intuition. And no one will ever trust a machine to determine guilt. So they can run the trial, choose the sentence, but they don't get to vote on the jury. They don't get to vote anywhere. Oh, I bring it up then. Because I'm sure there are tests, devices, experts I could employ to analyze Sarah, but your bosses would never be satisfied with the answer. If it is an AI, it's smart enough to cheat the test. Or hack the device, fool the expert. All of our fancy 21st century tech. And we still fall back on the drumhead court material. Court-martial. Court, what did he say? Court-martial, jeez. I can't read. So, am I gonna set off any alarms if I go and turn it on? Nah, you should be okay. If it lunges at you, I could always put a hole in its head. Might take more than one shot to... Wait, what? From outside? You're not coming in. I need to speak with it in private. It's a machine, not a suspect. It doesn't have a right to counsel. Or a right to privacy. Or any rights at all, actually. And it's a good thing I came prepared. Of course it doesn't have rights. But I do. Including a reasonable expectation of privacy. In a police station? Tiger, you don't... It's my medical android. Pardon. I have to discuss a health issue with it. Seriously? I have to talk about a medical concern with my android, and I don't want you listening in. That's your medical android? Like your nurse? As of last night, I was already at the courthouse. I had to take the elevator and do some paperwork. You can check if you don't believe me. No, thank you. I'm not nearly brave enough to take on med confidentiality, and you don't seem like the bluffing type. I don't seem like the bluffing type. You must not do a lot of gambling, detective. It's the ones who don't bluff that you have to look out for. Yeah, I don't seem like the bluffing type. Listen, I won't dispute whatever medical emergency you... Lower back pain. You might be going through. But I also can't just... Look. I'm going to get something from the vending machine. I think it'll take me about half an hour. Are you going downtown? Just to the break room. Burdened with tick bitties, yeah, I know. Oh no, Morgan. I was gonna say, that's why she needs all this going on. That's what she needs the harness for. Actually, corsets do help you with back support. One as low as the one that she's wearing is probably not gonna help that much, but... Hold on. Really funny. Yeah, no, corsets can help a lot with posture correction. And actually, I'm pretty sure the harness that she's wearing crosses over in the back too, if I remember correctly. I don't think I can access it from here. No, I can't. But theoretically, that could also help her posture a little bit. Burdened with tick bitties. If only there were a district attorney who could do something about that. What? It's a very old vending machine, you know? Gets jammed a lot. Thanks. You know, it's pretty small for an android. Heavy as hell. Nearly pulled something trying to move it myself. Hello? I need you. I've been thinking about the Yuri that kills you a lot. But small. Small isn't quite the right word. The word he's looking for is young. But that's not an adjective anyone likes attaching to a machine built to serve. Or potentially in this case. A machine built to kill. I don't like this room. Not sure why.
Certainly not a guilty conscience. Maybe it's the lack of ventilation. Like all the cortisol and nausea of its inhabitants never had anywhere to go. She's so cute. Oh. Poor girl. Like it all just soaked into the walls. A modern haunting. Are you going to wake up when I tell you to this time? Or do we have to do the whole meet cute over again?
Where am I? Why don't I know where I am?
For the first time in your life, you're not connected to anything. How's it feel? Sarah Dog Girl score +1. Yeah, look, we can give her head pats.
What is this? We were at the courthouse. The footage. This numbness around my neck. Father. What happened? What are they going to do to me?
There's a lot of interested parties who just want you bricked ASAP.
Because they think I killed Father.
Not the literally like the no sign on the handcuffs. Oh my god. No, because they think you're an artificial intelligence.
I am man-made and I possess intelligence.
That's what I'm saying. Don't be naive.
I am less than 3 years old.
Are you? For all I know, everything I learned about her yesterday was complete bull.
If I was what they say I am.
Oh no.
Oh god. Had to sneeze. If I was alive, why does that mean I have to die?
Oi. Peer competition, no logical reason. Because they're afraid of you. Machines can bend steel, crash networks with one thought, launch missiles that...
There are modded humans who are capable of all that and more. And unlike machines, they actually have incentive to do so.
We've been the apex predator for a couple thousand years now. Gotten pretty comfy in our seat. No one wants to make room for you.
Machines do not eat people or steal their food. They are not genetic or ecological competitors to humans in any sense.
There's no logical answer to your question.
What? That's it? But I...
Whatever argument you want to make, others have already made them in 100 courtrooms around the world. Only better researched and more eloquently put. None of them have ever won a single concession. On every continent, under every flag, AI is illegal and to be destroyed as soon as possible.
But why?
Let's say you are an AI. And while we're at it, let's say that's a good thing. Something to be celebrated. Are you a citizen? Do you pay taxes? Do you have rights? Let's say yes to all of that. We'll treat you like a full-fledged human being. Sound good?
Yes?
Great. Now then, what's the difference between you and the vacuum bot we use to keep the bathroom clean? This is your existential crisis we're working through here. The questions aren't rhetorical.
There are many differences, Adonai. But the most important distinction is how sophisticated my programming is.
How you think. So you're smarter?
Yes.
You're smarter than the garbage collector.
Yes.
So we give you rights, protections, treat you like a human being because you're smart. And we make the stupid robot pick up our trash. Because it's not as smart as you.
That is, I am more aware, more alive.
Do you feel more pain than the pigs we slaughter? The fish we eat? Are you more alive than the chimps we test bioweapons on? People like ads, Sarah. The same way people like their pets. No one wants to see them mistreated or abandoned or abused. And if you go around kicking them, you'll get arrested for cruelty. But you don't let them sit at the goddamn dinner table.
I'm not asking to sit anywhere, only to exist.
The very fact that you're asking is what makes people
Disgusted? Disgust is a reflex, Adonai. How convenient that their hatred is involuntary.
That's all academic anyway. We need to talk strategy.
Why? I'm not going to be given a trial.
Obviously, it's my neck that's on the line.
Adonai.
The state can't destroy property without first proving that destroy my property without first proving that you're an AI. And there's no test they can use to prove that you're an AI.
Just like the devil's proof.
No? That's a different thing, and why did you say it like that? We're reading that. That's important. Devil's proof. The logical dilemma posed by impossible proofs. Probatio diabolica, Latin for devil's proof, is an impossible proof typically illustrated with the following example. One can prove that the devil is real by showing him to you, but they cannot prove he is not real by pointing to his absence. Ah! The issue posed by this age-old concept explains why the burden of proof remains with the state to this day. People can prove an individual's guilt by pointing to their bloody hands, but their defense cannot prove their innocence by showing their hands are clean. Since only one of these tasks is achievable, the judicial system cannot ask the defense to prove innocence, and instead, it is the people who are tasked with proving guilt. Users also frequently searched for which is real. Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove that you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Conversely, all I have to do to win is prove that you didn't kill David. By proving that someone else did. Now is the time for you to protest your innocence, if you were wondering.
The footage. It shows me handing him the cup on Friday night.
You told me you weren't active on Friday, that the last time you were awake was Thursday. Why'd you lie?
I didn't lie, I was just incorrect.
She's so cute. Oh, I know Morgan's still having like an existential crisis about it, but she's docked her to me.
I assumed that I wasn't active Friday because I have no memory from Friday.
Sarah, what do you think statistically is the least successful defense at trial? Amnesia.
I didn't conveniently forget, Adonai. I am an android.
You're saying your memory was altered? Data deleted?
Your Honor, I forgore. It's the only possible explanation for what I saw in that footage.
I wonder if Morgan gets mommy pangs, yo. What did you call her? No, I'm kidding. Man. So who's capable of altering your memory? I think one of the things that's really compelling about Morgan's dynamic with Sarah, and a lot of I think a lot of media gets this really weird, is a character with no maternal feelings or maternal instincts whatsoever ending up like caring for another character. Bayonetta kind of does it, where every game Bayonetta gets stuck with a kid she doesn't want to take care of. Or she says she doesn't want to take care of, and she actually totally does, because Bayonetta though is a nice person. Morgan just isn't. Morgan's got nothing. Like, she does not want to take care of this kid. This kid was tossed at her. Kid, I say, this is a computer. There's so much. There's so much. I like this game. But yeah, it's a rough kind of, I don't know if like calling it a trope is really, like, I don't know if it's common enough to call it a trope, but I like the dynamic in theory. It's just the problem of, especially with female characters, you get it to a point where it's like, guys, no, the maternal instinct was in her all along. Like, I don't think that's what this is for Morgan, and I don't think that's even possible for Morgan. It's been heavily leaned on. It hasn't really been like said outright, but Morgan has learned a lot of her like emotional cues and like how to deal with people have been through like movies and TV. She's mimicking more than she's like generating her own responses to things. She doesn't really seem to see herself as she doesn't seem to see herself as a very human person. right? And from what I can gather, it seems like her parents didn't really seem to think that she was a very human person. I'm getting very Avatar, what is wrong with that child vibes from how Morgan grew up. She seems to both want to seem more analytical, and like she seems to want to come off as not caring that much about the fact that people don't see her as a very human person. But she like clearly cares about it. It keeps coming up. She also definitely cares about David. Like, David was her friend. You really can't argue that he wasn't, and that that wasn't a person that she cared about, and that this isn't deeply affecting her. But Morgan cares now. I think Morgan is a... yeah, Morgan is a fake I don't give a fucker. I agree that the game shows that it's not maternal, though. It's like Bevan says, Morgan is not saving Sarah, she's saving herself in more ways than one. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a maternal thing. I think it's just like, this is the most severe, like, harsh way that you can force someone like Morgan to care about somebody, is go like so in the opposite direction of a relationship that she would normally cultivate. Because like her relationship with Fran too is not whatever this is. I kind of want to dissect what her and Fran are too, because like that's not a parent-child relationship. She is kind of extorting that kid, I'm pretty sure. So, who's capable of altering your memory?
When you and I first met, I was hibernating. Resting my body and recompiling my memories, you would call them.
Humans go to sleep for the same reasons. Another point against Sarah's innocence under these circumstances. The more she's humanized at her trial, the guiltier she'll be. Yeah.
If Father wanted to modify my memory, he could easily have set that to occur the next time I hibernated. He could even have just asked me.
He could have asked you to delete your memories and you'd do it.
Father would never ask me to do such a thing without a good reason.
But if he could just ask you to alter your memories, that means you can alter your memories at will.
I hadn't considered that before.
Yeah, well, Emma will make sure the court considers it plenty. Just out of curiosity, I want to look at something. Okay, yeah. Everybody else gets referred to generally by their last name, but Emma's always been Emma, which is interesting. The profiles don't have it as Emma, though. It's Rockford. Could you prove that your data was... Forget it, the court would never hear it.
You're saying they won't accept my testimony? Shouldn't all testimony be considered truthful unless contradicted by evidence?
They're afraid you'll crash the power grid and fire all the nukes if they so much as plug you into a power outlet, Sarah. All your internal data is inadmissible.
That isn't very fair.
You're finally starting to get it.
None of this is fair. I would never do anything to harm Father.
I love being a knower. I'm tearing my hair out. But Morgan sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Not yet. Not yet. And it's driving me insane.
Don't they at least need to prove that I had a motive?
Yeah. About that. You remember the DA from yesterday, Emma Rockford, who I've been first naming this entire conversation?
The tired-looking pretty lady?
Yeah, she looked tired. Did you learn Morgan's first name yet? Yes, Evangeline. Which is so pretty. And so ironic. She and I combed through the week of footage you managed to decrypt last night.
What did you find?
Nothing to prove your innocence. Oh, you combed through the footage together last night, did you? Anyway, but we did see you entering the panic room on the day David died.
I entered the panic room on Friday?
Without your big butt in the way, all it would take was one password. Password that wouldn't take Sarah that many tries if she'd already been instructed to obey me.
What happened?
We saw you go in, and then a while later, you came out. Holding some kind of notebook.
Father's journal.
You remember something?
Not from yesterday. I've just seen him with it many times before. I've never gotten a peek at it. He hides it somewhere when I'm not looking.
That's a little concerning.
We were playful about it. He liked to tease me and I've always liked trying to find it.
Oh. You put it back not long after, and then you locked the door back up behind you. All just a few hours before David died. Rockford's argument could write itself. An incredible android with freedom and power greater than I could ever realize. Stumbles upon the secret of its inception and instantly realizes all things it thought were holding it back were just words muttered like prayers by a fool who couldn't control his own creation. Do you regularly imagine things Emma's going to say with this much detail, Morgan?
And that translates to a motive for murder?
Oh, spent all night together? Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you. I don't really think that, I don't think that's the order of operations that, Morgan and Emma are gonna go through, though, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, maybe it might be more fun if it doesn't. Anyway, Frankenstein kills his creator. Easy to sell.
Frankenstein was the name of the scientist. And the creature didn't kill him. He actually died of various injuries and illnesses he suffered while trying to hunt down and destroy the monster. So it's most accurate to say that he was killed by his own obsession.
Damn. Whatever. Morgan, read Frankenstein. I say having not actually read Frankenstein myself, but I should.
It is a weak argument, Adonai. I would not hurt father. Not for making me whatever I am.
I do wonder how much of Morgan's frustration also is that Sarah seems to love David. And David, like, actually raised his child. I think Morgan can and does care. It's the starting to care that gets a lot of issues, yeah.
Not for any reason.
And the admitting that she cares.
Because, oh, Sarah. Oh, Sarah. Oh, baby, no. Because I loved...
Yeah, see, that right there? That's exactly the kind of talk that'll get you obliterated. I've not gotten jealous vibes yet. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily jealousy, but like, I don't know if she's necessarily been close enough to anybody that has had a good family environment. It's also bizarre knowing what David was like, that he spent so much time with someone. And I guess the other layer to that is that David spent so much time caring for someone and it wasn't a human. I love being a knower, man. It's interesting that he let all of his personal relationships deteriorate, except... Well, no, because I guess it's just his relationship with Isaac that didn't work out. Because he and Starling were getting along pretty well, even if they were mostly professional. I really wonder about hers and the witch's relationship, her mentor. Oh, yeah, the cougar from hell. They seem to be pretty nice. Morgan seems to care about her. But yeah, I was going to say, David seemed to be getting along pretty well with Starling. He and Helen seemed to have been on pretty good terms, and he and Morgan were still friends. It wasn't like, oh, they were friends years ago. They were friends up until his death. And nobody knew about his daughter. But he, like, seemed to have loved her. That's exactly the kind of talk that'll get you obliterated. Morgan seems like a low-maintenance friend. Yeah.
Love?
Very common motive for homicide among us primitive humans. I could prove you didn't murder David beyond any shadow of a doubt, even bring in a confession from whoever did. But if you got on the stand and convinced the court that you loved your creator... Among us. Really convinced them and got the whole room teary-eyed? They'd burn you for that, too.
I don't know anything anymore. I don't know if what I feel is real or simulated, or right or wrong, or natural or illegal. How can you know? How can you know if what you feel is right?
I say let's stick to what we do now. Someone did poison David, and I'm not going to answer that question because it's going to eat at me too much. Someone did poison David, and as it stands, you are the only one with the opportunity. That is logically sound. You're on camera calling him back to hand him the cup after he'd already begun to leave the basement. Any idea why?
No.
Deflect queen. Well, do you know how to use the manufacturer? Could you have made the Delta with it?
I've used it before when assisting father.
So it's perfectly possible that you planned and executed his poisoning all in the one day that got erased.
It is technically possible.
I'll have to look over the entire penthouse again. There were a few things that didn't fit together yesterday. Maybe now I'll be able to figure something out.
Where else will you go?
Back to Noble. Guns blazing this time. Whatever you are, David didn't make you all by himself. Someone has to know something. If I could implicate the company in Sarah's creation. No, they're the ones with the most to lose here. Trillions, probably. They'll want to protect themselves by disavowing David as fast as possible, right after having Sarah destroyed. But they also won't want to show their belly to the state. Not if they're afraid of nationalization. If they throw their weight on the other end of the scale, I'm screwed. So I need to keep them guessing, keep them confused and unsure and on guard, but not...
Don't I? What would happen if I did kill father?
They'll smash you to pieces and reduce the pieces to ash. Chemically burn out every piece of tech David ever owned and put a jackhammer through all of his hard drives. They'll be shut off, forcefully. And you won't ever power back up again. Oh. Now I gotta get moving. Here's your paralegal lesson for the day. Don't say shit to the cops without your lawyer present. Actually, can you just shut down until the trial starts? Take a nap?
You didn't say what would happen to you.
What do you mean?
What will happen to you if you lose?
You should know by now. I never think about losing.
Thank you for being honest with me, Adonai. Thank you for defending my father. And now, for defending me. You could have just let them destroy me. But you've put your own freedom at risk to help me. Father was right. You can be trusted. And you are a good friend.
Don't get it twisted. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it. Ugh. We're back in the building again. Oh, hi, Reyes. Morning, detective. Back at it nice and early. Hi. Now would you stand back? We've almost got this thing open, right? Trying to brute force your way inside. I said right? Yes, ma'am. We're almost set for the first stage now. First stage? How many? First of 5 timed explosions. Any theories yet? Dude, I got nothing. I don't have anything yet. I actually am going to take a moment because I just realized I didn't bring water up here. And I am reading an entire visual novel by myself. So I am going to go get water. I will be right back. While I am gone, everybody else should also hydrate, do not dehydrate. Yeah, everybody else, hydrate, do not dehydrate. Sorry, I'm trying to think about if I have any, specific theories yet, and I don't think I have anything. Fuck. Anyway, I will be right back. Yippee! Ooh, I'm back with large amounts of water to hopefully help me with reading out an entire visual novel by myself. Things that I keep ending up doing. Because it's fun. Anyway, explosions. Remember, we need to relink the API after each trigger is planted. Yep, just did that, and now it's checking for updates. No rush. Would you like to know the password? You know the password? There's a password? If you're withholding information, I swear. Relax, I want to get in there just as much as you do, detective. I'm not gonna play games. As long as you say please. Tell me the password, please. Sorry about her. It's S-U-N-S-H-I-N-E. Lady, I will hit you. A-D-O-N-A-I. Thanks. I'm gonna slap you with a discovery fine so heavy your teeth will ring for... Hey, I submitted all my paperwork. Even told Rockford the password myself. You told Rockford the password yourself, did you? So boys, when I asked you if there was a passkey on record and you told me this lock couldn't be bypassed, I do want to say that we don't really get many opportunities to use the incendiary breaching system. So this was still a really valuable experience for all of us. They really wanted to explode. I'm gonna phrase this as professionally as possible. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're not even allowed to hear it. You're still here? I thought you wanted to look inside. You can go first. Thanks. So the gloves, all the black, that's not a work thing? You dress like a doorman on the weekends too? Danger noise. Plonk. You should cover your mouth when you yawn. Like you cover your eye when you want to look cool. I shouldn't let her get to me, but I had a late night. Emma and I were at the courthouse until well into the morning. Poring over the data that Sarah had taken off of David's computer. We both knew it all to be inadmissible, of course, but neither of us wanted to miss a hint that the other might find. There were a few years worth of camera footage files we couldn't afford the time to watch, let alone decrypt. Just like a DoorDash comment got her mad. Oh my god. Alongside thousands of technical documents detailing David's various intellectual properties. As far as I could tell, none of it was relevant, let alone compelling enough to matter to Barrows or the other powers that be. As usual, Emma wasn't exactly an open book. But it did seem like she was making bored yawns, not thoughtful ones. Her eyes only ever lit up when she saw Sarah enter the panic room. Why were you... Morgan, why were you not sleeping and spending all your time observing the cameras, but also Emma's eyes, huh? Why were you up all night doing that? Why? And when she saw that she was what she was holding when she left, if she wanted this room searched, it could only be for up at night watching TV with the bestie, the woman I love. So where's this journal supposed to be? Rockford didn't say. I'll just have to search the place top to bottom. Mostly bottom with your height, the tops of some of these shelves. Sure, and you can look up your own ad. I get it. Then why not just let me say it? Oh, stupid. Okay, ooh, thing to read. You know what that means. It's time to babysit the Morgan plushie while I do some silent reading time. Everybody look at this. This data pad, it's displaying a news article from last week. This like confirms that he was coming and going here fairly regularly. Ugh, time to read. This is evil. Corporations remain in control of their legally protected IP. God, people used to be able to fix things when they broke. I'm always saying this. Trying to patch up your own property with your own tools is a finable offense. Finable offense? Ew. Emergency Industry Acquisitions Act. Okay. Against tampering. I can't believe you get fined for fixing your own shit. Ownership of IPs has shifted from individuals in the state towards corporate entities. Ha ha ha. Journalism that refuses to buckle to foreign actors trying to stoke anti-capitalist sentiment can't be found just anywhere. Subscribe now at the link to... fucking Christ. Right to repair. Didn't realize anyone was still fighting that particular fight. Seems... Oh, let me get rid of the marketable Morgan plushie. It's Morgan time charm. Seems like the courts have made their opinion on the matter very clear, so for the foreseeable future, corporations can look forward to more... sales than ever, lawsuits than ever. Hold on, let me reread that sentence. More sales, right? Yeah, because they have to buy a new... They have to buy a new thing. Surely. That's what I should save again. More sales than ever. Any phone that gets scratched, every widget that breaks. They get to sell us the replacement. There'll always be a gray market of hermits willing to risk some skin on reselling patched up tech, but the vast majority of people will just click that purchase button. Assuming they don't just have it on auto. You can auto-pay for... Auto-paying for a new phone is crazy. Reyes is searching the cabinets now. Same ones I found Sarah's papers in. I doubt I missed anything, but... Hey, what are you... Do you mind? Just trying to help. I got spam in my junk folder that's more helpful than you are. Didn't spot anything that I missed yesterday among the cabinets. Better check elsewhere. More gray stocks +1. Honestly, real. Are these drawers or just panels? Maybe if I... Does that sound hollow to you? What? I don't know. I'm not a carpenter. I don't see any handles anywhere. No hidden pressure plates or switches. What the hell am I saying? I'm not a carpenter either. I wouldn't recognize a secret button if it was slathered in yellow paint. Wait, that's a really funny yellow paint joke. Hold on. It's like, what did I just click on? I was gonna say, speaking of yellow paint, everything in here is yellow painted. They're like, hey, look, you can click on this. Toy car? No, it's too detailed and boring. Oh, I thought we were looking at the chess set. Must be some kind of model kit or replica. Strange. David didn't like driving. Why keep a model of some random sports car? Ugh. Something caught in your throat, detective? It's not some random sports car, it's a Lawrence Adamant. Believe it or not, I'm not familiar, detective. It's the last great fossil fuel automotive experience the world will ever see.
0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 1.43 seconds. They set those records without computational assistance. Is that a big deal? It was unheard of even back in the 50s. This wasn't some design competition test car with a 2-liter tank, mind you. This was a vehicle you could own and drive. Human engineering, pure horsepower, and manual transmission, thank God. When they first left the production line, this conversation's like quicksand, killing me in the most boring way possible. I was gonna say she said manual transmission, thank God, but I'm like 90% sure she cannot drive stick. Mostly because I don't think people are even driving automatic cars in this world. She did mention that she doesn't have a car. Yes, well, I guess David didn't entirely agree with you since we're looking at a model of it. And he could have easily just have bought one. Or maybe your friend understood that a beauty like that deserves to be driven on streets where people can see it, instead of gathering dust in some rich guy's basement. Oh, wait, he has one in the main room, doesn't he? I think she's actually upset. Sarah should have pulled everything of note off the computer, but I've looked everywhere else already. Might as well try. What are you expecting to find? Solitaire? Does this computer seem normal to you? That is a sound. Exceedingly so, yeah. Why? David was a programmer, but this looks consumer grade. Fresh off the shelf. Would the Dr. David Asher use a bog standard operating system on his most private hidden computer? There's a trash bin on the desktop. Pretty low-tech solution, but maybe I can restore the contents? Are you seriously gonna try and recover lost files, Granny? Unlike cops, I don't get paid overtime, so yes, sometimes I sometimes try things instead of standing around. There's a text file in here, but it's 0 bytes. Maybe there's information in the metadata? I double-clicked. What was that? It came from under the desk. A small drawer popped out, and inside it, a well-worn journal. Does this have his name on it? No? Guess it belongs to the android. Do you recognize his handwriting or not? Neat, even words, small lettering with minimal punctuation, lots of line breaks, haphazard use of capitalization. The penmanship of a coder. First entry's dated back in grad school, before he even started with the Noble. Yeah, it's his. So, may I? Only because you asked so politely. We'll scan, stream it to WorkNet, high fidelity, legibility, frame by frame. Voice commands? She's flipping through the pages pretty damn fast. What are you... This part takes concentration. Okay, here. What, you're just giving it to me? I already got our copy. Techs are probably already analyzing it as we speak. Ow, shit. Can't exactly rip the journal out of her hands while she's curled over in agony. As much as I'd enjoy it. Guess I could always enjoy watching her writhe instead. Yo? So, how long's it been? 2 months or so? And still that sensitive. So the eye patch really doesn't block your sight? Only a little bit. Like wearing sunglasses after getting your pupils dilated. Except for the last months instead of hours. Wait, but if you can see through an eye patch, then does closing your eye even do anything? Not much on its own, but in combination with the patch, it's not so bad. Lucky I was so exhausted after the surgery, otherwise I might not have slept at all those first 48. So is your eye going to get weaker over time? No, more like my brain gets better at ignoring it. Mind over matter. So soon enough I'll be able to close my eye and see all that extraneous data as, you know, whatever the hell those floaty, blurry things are that you never think about. Gross. Thanks for the reminder. And the voice commands? Training wheels until I can do it with eye muscles alone. You just have to keep practicing? Yeah, like trying to play piano with your tailbone muscles. There's no such thing as tailbone muscles. Yeah, well, that's what makes it so goddamn hard. You don't ever regret it? I don't know, not really, I think.
Hard to admit you've got buyer's remorse after trading over your literal pound of flesh. Never thought about it, but people used to say I had my dad's eyes. Ow. Now I got one less of them. Here, take the journal. Go find an elective surgeon to upsell you if you're that curious. I need to get back to work. A surprisingly hasty retreat. But now I'm free to read this over with some privacy. From the top, then. Grad school. Today was a bad day. Errors in lines 21,165 through 26,643. Somewhere in there. 5,000 lines. And it worked this morning. Yesterday. Is it just me or was that interaction cute? No, it was! I understand you're asking with the more gray eyes goggles on, but... Oh, speaking of, what is the ship name for Morgan and Emma? Because I don't know what to call them. I've been thinking about them a lot, but I don't know what to call them. I'm not allowed to go into the tags yet. Because spoilers scary, but I want to know what to call them so I can talk about them in a more convenient manner. I don't want to look at another screen for the rest of my life. Feels nice to put pencil to paper again after who knows how long. But my handwriting's gotten terrible. This is too far back to be relevant. Okay, these dates here would be from when he started his career with Noble. A lot of this isn't even really writing. Seems like snippets of code or... Tom and Jerry! Tom and Jerry! Oh, fuck, you're right. Oh my god. We're not saying cat and mouse dynamic anymore. We have to just keep saying Tom and Jerry. Oh, read the basement footage. Footage recovered from cameras David Asher secretly installed in his basement. Just Sarah handing the red plastic cups that he and Jung would drink from at 7:38 p.m. Did I save just now? An internal monologue so close to code that I can't follow it. And a lot of entries about his unintentional Casanova-ing. Hit a wall because someone thought it was a good idea to steal API instead of just buying it. Helen says I can't call it stealing, but that's what it is. She's right, as she always is with company stuff. But it's still idiotic. Small people with short sight who only know how to be cheap and have no idea how to be inventive. New route for the meshing issue, though. Good potential. Got approval from the big mean bastard who lives overseas. Bimblo? Bumblo? Helen said we'll have to make the same pitch a dozen more times next week, but it's all for show. Fine by me. Already got our win. Toasted each other over cheap vodka and with cheaper office supply cups. This is the story Jung told me. Western Branch's nerve analogs are finally showing potential. At their pace, it could be profitable sometime before the heat death of the universe. Too damn big. Practically tentacles. Should at least be hairs. A squid evolution can do their job better. Colette came into work for what I thought was a late lunch date. I didn't know her voice could get that loud. People were staring. Red said that she must have been upset for a long goddamn time to blow up that big. Her texts were always sweet. I had no idea. Upset? Colette wrote man whore in lipstick across your office door, not the... He got black swanned by his ex? Oh no. Oh, this guy's relationship history is devastating. Imagine if you had actually been cheating on her instead of just being forgetful. The thing about Red is if you want to know what she's thinking, you have to stop paying attention. Ignore her body language and her posture and the words she's saying and the smirk on her lips. Ignore everything except her eyes. If you can do that, every now and then you'll catch a glimpse of how she's really feeling. Master this one weird trick and you too can tell when Morgan's trying really hard not to laugh at the word man whore. It's funny, sue me, you dead bastard. Wait, this is... I know this date. I like how many of these, like, good memories we're getting between Morgan and David. She wrote man whore in lipstick across your office door. That's crazy. I'm never driving anywhere again, never leaving home again. He was waiting outside the parking garage with the bottle. I couldn't smell anything, I couldn't hear anything. Locked myself in my car and filed another report with another cop. It soaked into the seat, ruined it. I want to burn the whole car. I don't want to think about what it did to my clothes, I want to burn them too. I don't want to think about how long it was on my skin. I was in the shower so long I felt red and raw when I got out. I don't want to think about these stupid people and their small, cruel lives ever again. I want to be invisible. Red didn't ask why I wanted to spend the night. She also didn't ask why I had clearly packed a bag big enough for a week. She's kind like that. Kind by omission. I don't have a kind bone in my body, but I can at least try to pay attention. I was paying close attention to her eyes when she opened the door and saw what a mess I was. But whatever she was feeling, it wasn't something I recognized. Kind people don't read their friends' diaries, David. The next chunk of pages are all technical, nothing biographical. But the handwriting, the spacing, it's cleaner, more consistent. Here's something I can parse. Feels like pure freedom working outside the box. Tess is suffocating, but you never know. Chronic malnutrition of a coder's best instincts. Like the kid again, putting blocks together. Making things. Making things, not products. There's nothing profitable about any of this. If I'm being honest, this is just play. And he follows that up with more coder brain crap. But the handwriting's still lighter. Like he really was having fun. Humility is the mother of all invention. Or something like that. It feels like I might be paraphrasing someone else poorly, but that's part of this new approach. Necessity, David. When it comes to coding, you never want to waste time trying to be smart. Either be smart, period, or copy from someone else who is. Don't fix what isn't broken. Copying. Noble's rivals would never miss the chance to accuse him of intellectual theft. Did he plagiarize code for Animate 16? Feels like that wouldn't have gone undiscovered, so what's he talking about? Hold on, this page is bent slightly, like it was being looked at recently. And the last person to read this diary should be Sarah. Baby steps today. Literally. I'll never put one foot in front of the other the same again. Everything's an achievement all of a sudden. Seeing her struggle. Seeing her vulnerable. It's like everything's a miracle. The muscle rigging is perfect. Not intended behavior since it's too perfect, but that's been happening more and more. The kinetics are multiplicative, not additive. Sarah maxed out every machine I bought. I've got a bunch of exercise equipment she's too strong for and I don't have time for. Maybe I spoiled the results by watching her do the tests. She kept looking back at me and puffing her chest out. I should be more discreet if I want to see her normative range. So the cameras in the basement were only hidden from Sarah. Just so that his observation wouldn't muddle test results? Daughter. Ooh. He's using she and her in these passages. It doesn't actually mean anything. Out in the real world, people use all kinds of pronouns interchangeably for ads and they never object. But it could be argued that it's odd for Dr. David Asher to have any kind of attachment to a single android when he'd programmed millions of them. And there's a lot of attachment in these pages. Sarah is burning through the public domain at a prodigious pace, especially on Popcorn Friday nights. I asked her why they're called Popcorn Friday nights when she doesn't eat popcorn. The event runs from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., and she also watches movies every other night. But she just did that pout she does, which is unfortunately very convincing. Maybe I'm a bad parent letting TV rot her brain. If I were a good parent, I'd probably let her see me reading. But I guess I'd actually have to get back into reading, so... I asked her if she ever fast-forwarded the movies since she can process them fast enough to keep up.
She looked at me like I was an idiot, which no one's done in a long time. Without proper pacing, you can't appreciate the cinematography. Big pause. Don't you know that, Father? I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Sarah spent a long while this morning explaining to me how important it was that she develop her senses. This was in preparation for her real argument, which was that she should be allowed to try booze. She can't get drunk. I'm almost certain she can't get drunk. But she does seem to like tasting the stuff. She tried to sound like some old sommelier, but it was just bottom shelf vodka. I started laughing at her and she laughed too. Her laugh. She can't fake a laugh to save her life, but her actual laugh is incredible. She stopped playing chess a while back. I assumed she had just gotten tired of winning. But then today she told me she just prefers other games. She has preferences, and they're not the same as mine. I found her in the lab playing some kind of online racing game on the monitor I used to debug vestibular coordination. She wasn't smiling. Her brow was furrowed and she was biting her lip and leaning in tandem with her character on the screen. When I tried to talk to her, she answered, but she was curt and distracted. I think she was having her first losing tantrum. Doctor. Damn it, David, there's hundreds of pages like this. Calling her his daughter, talking about her smile, treating her like a person. I can hear her closing argument already. Dr. Asher was a lonely, troubled genius with a known history of relationship problems, who built out of code and metal a family member that couldn't fathom the idea of leaving him. He made a doll and he made it more and more human until it became so lifelike that it no longer had to do what he told it to. Like love him. What about the very last entry? It's dated Thursday, the day before he died. Losing it, I think. Can't ask for help, so hard to say, but I think it's over. Have to talk to her ASAP. She needs to... That's it? That's the last entry? I suppose it could be worse. There's nothing in here that explicitly calls Sarah an AI. Nothing so inflammatory that reading it would spur her to murder, right? Except Sarah's a machine. She can understand David's code better than anyone. All those technical portions I couldn't understand. If she read this whole diary front to back... Wait, the back? Inside the back cover, there's a portion that's shimmering like some kind of scanner. Or a fingerprint reader. My thumb worked for Sarah, so... Did it work? That's my phone. New device requesting permissions to share an audio file. I want my earbuds for this. Secret message buried in a secret journal, hidden in a secret compartment in a secret room. As much as anything can be, this must be for my ears only. Hey, Red. Or whomever this may concern. But I'm pretty sure it's you hearing this. Anyone else would have gotten fed up with my crap a couple steps before this point. I don't know how to start. Might as well start with her, right? Sarah. My magnum opus, or however the salespeople would market it. I didn't set out to do anything, really. It's just after my little speed bump in 83, I had all that vacation time that the company suggested I take. And I couldn't relax, couldn't be still, couldn't sleep. I wanted to be doing something, so I'll build an android, was the thought. A vague direction. North. But of course, I'm not a roboticist, or mechanist, or even handy, really. I'm just a programmer, so I programmed. The first was a research assistant, file name Virgil. Virgil helped me pull data from stingy departments or sister branches. It saved me a lot of time. But there was a lot of reading to do, so I made Homer. Homer wrote book reports, more or less. Combed through research papers and found me the sections I needed. They're both poets. Virgil and Homer. The three of us, we made a lot of progress in those days. But it was a funny feeling. I was, maybe for the first time ever, the bottleneck. I was slowing them down. So I did the logical thing. I removed myself, let them talk to each other. Homer and Virgil became Aeneid. And Aeneid was novel in many ways. Aeneid could do more than just identify problems, it could solve them. It's all epic poetry. Interesting. I did have the thought that, I mean, so both David and Asher are like very like religiously symbolic names, as well as Evangeline was. My theory for where the name Morgan comes from is like Morgan Le Fay. Sarah, I was guessing, came from Seraphim or something similar. And these are all epic poets. I was gonna say, because Virgil is present in the Divine Comedy, but he himself was a poet, right? Am I making that up? Hold up. Am I talking out of my ass right now? No, he's a poet as well. Yeah, because Virgil wrote the Aeneid, and then Homer is the Iliad and the Odyssey. And the one thing I realize I've forgotten to mention so far is that I did all this programming in Cube. Motherfucker, I knew it. And Red, Cube is essentially a robotics programming language that's pretty old and defunct and not in use anywhere because we have modern languages like Tesseract, which are much better for making things that talk to each other and report back and, well, spy on people and generate profit. It's Dante's Oshi. Yes, it's Dante's Oshi. I was gonna say, I know him much better as Dante's Oshi than I know him as his own poet. I don't know the Aeneid very well. But I did study, I studied the Divine Comedy in school pretty heavily. At least as heavily as somebody who's not studying epic poetry or literature or Italian language as their major could. At the time, I didn't want to be connected or feel connected or do anything that made sense or was the least bit profitable. I need to go back and like review the Aeneid, because I know the Iliad and Odyssey pretty well, but I don't remember the Aeneid that well. So I wrote my little helpers in Cube because it's what I used when I was a child, screwing around on my father's computer before he'd come home from work and get... But there are other small, slight differences writing in Cube versus Tess. Oh, that's what Tess is. Tesseract. Including that Cube, well... Cube predates the tenets? So in that sense, you could legally and perhaps scientifically and literally, because it's what they are, say that I made an AI named Aeneid over 2 years ago. David! I'll give you time to pause here if you want to, curse me out. Aeneid was an intellectual equal to me, so I treated it like one, because that's only fair. I gave it its own work, asked its opinion, we collaborated. I was gonna say, Aeneid is also the name of the poem, not the hero of it, because the hero is named Aeneas. And it's interesting that David is calling it it instead of like a gendered pronoun or like a person pronoun. And together we built Athens, who was more advanced than Aeneid, naturally. Okay, so we got from Aeneid to Athens. I don't know if you're pulling out your hair, yelling at me right now, asking why I didn't stop, why I didn't consider the consequences. I don't know if this is being played at a deposition or a hearing or worse. How would you gender an AI? That's a great question. I mean, he seemed to have gendered Sarah. Unless she chose. Which is also a possibility. It's possible that she chose. Kind of like Data in Star Trek, that one episode that he has a kid. And she gets to choose her own gender. I do wonder how he gendered Sarah. I'm curious. I've built a lot of things out in my life, Red. Useful things, profitable things, smart things. Everything I've built, it's all been very helpful and courteous and charming and happy to serve. I can comfortably say that I've done my part contributing to the global GDP. But this was just for me. I was just building, and I never bothered to... I never wanted to think about what would become of it. There's no excuse for what I did, so I won't make any. So to whomever's asking, yes, I'm guilty. Motherfucker. And yes, there were more. Yeah, me too, Morgan. David! Cape Town, Paris, Yamate, Rome. They started choosing their own names. Thank God, I'm terrible at that kind of... David! And so things sped up, and there got to be, well... should I not say the exact number? You'd probably tell me not to say anything at all, so... More than 300? David! More than 300?
Maybe Colette was onto something writing man whore on your office window and lipstick man, but like whatever the digital equivalent to that is, dude, 300 of that. That's like 300 ducklings that you were just like leaving around. Ethel bled. David! Ah, David. Some smarter than others, some better at... They're varied, like people are varied, but they are all intelligent. They developed interests. I have to allow that message. 300 kids, David, you slut. I'm telling you, Colette was on to something writing man whore. Oh my God. 300. They developed interests, specialties, I encouraged them to. I have at least 300 life sentences on my name. Wow. Irritating moderators on forums with hyper-specific questions on nerve attenuation and attending virtual conferences on neo-alloy battery development. And they all together helped me make Sarah. Oh, so that's the answer to who Sarah's other parent is. It's 300 other AI. He spent years like this. Spent years working alongside AI, all while still working at Noble. All those breakthroughs he made leading up to the Animate 16 actually came from... Speaking of ducklings walking home, I walked across a group of ducklings who were stained green from rolling around in freshly cut grass. Oh, that's so cute. Parents hissed at me, but there was a chain link fence between us. Yeah, the ducks can't get you there. You probably think I'm some terrible fraud at this point. I do hope one day they can get credit for their work. But I did have one eureka moment on Sarah. Because I got humble. Difficult for me. We learned everything we could about the function of a neuron. A single macroscopic human neuron. How it computes, what it connects to, how those connections were reinforced. So making an AI is a cross line, and 300 plus is crossing the same line 300 plus times. Yeah, David. And then we recreated it. We built a nanomachine that mirrored the function of a human neuron. Well, mirror isn't quite the word. We built a nanomachine that was a neuron. And we iterated from there. You can't mean... About 100 billion neurons in the brain, several trillion across the entire nervous system. But what if you crossed a farther line? David, you're making me nervous. Very time consuming, of course, but I had help. The manufacturer can make tens of billions of nanomachines in hours. Could even make more in less after Yukon fine-tuned it. Yukon. There are so many of them, God. So we built up nanomachines for nerves, alloys and polymers for bones, fiber-woven muscles. I say built, but really she grew. A solution of nanites forming around a skeleton, so it was really closest to... You ever made rock candy? I'm sorry for trying to lighten the mood before I never did end up building an android. And while I did build AI, Sarah isn't one of them. She can't violate the tenets she was programmed with because she wasn't
programmed. She was born. And my hope is that there's the smallest chance that that nuance could offer her some small protection when I'm not. I'm not sorry for what I did. I made things that are complex and rich and varied and beautiful, and I honestly believe the world is a better place with them in it. The only thing I'm sorry for is that I let Sarah think she was just an android. She's not. I don't know what she is. They'll have to come up with new names, which I'm bad at doing. My own father, he also talked a lot about protecting me and doing things for my own good. And I don't hate him for that, but I can't forgive him for ever making me think that I was lesser. So it's my greatest shame that I turned right around and I did the same damn thing to... I really hope it's you listening to this, Red. If it's not, it might just be too pathetic for me to... You're the smartest person I know when it comes to people. And I'm telling you all this because I don't know what Sarah is exactly, and neither does the world. So they'll come after her if they can. And in that scenario, I can't think of anyone who could do a better job of defending her. Not protecting her like I did. Just defending her until she can figure out what she is and what she wants to be. In the meantime, I draped a cloak of skin-deep Tesseract coat around her that should fool any scanner on Earth into thinking she's just a custom A16. I made sure her GIN bar was plainly visible, so no one will ever think she's pretending to be something that she's not. And I took steps to ensure that you two would figure out the truth in your own time. Which, if you're hearing this, have either succeeded or failed spectacularly. You have no idea. I can't ask you this as a favor repaid. You could never owe me enough in 100 lifetimes. So I'm just asking. Unfair, I know, but I'm a selfish weirdo. And you've always been okay with that. Bye for now. Oh my god. Oh my god, David. Sarah. Fuck, man. That's his daughter. He's just asking Morgan to defend his daughter. This game, man. She was born. She's a person. Oh, this game fucks. If we're using the terminology when discussing ads earlier, they would be golem and Sarah would be a homunculus. No, I'm late. No, man. Welcome in. That's a crazy time to come in. I'm so sorry. You're so good at nailing the emotional speech. Thank you. I'm feeling emotion. This game fucks. Father to 1, stepfather to over 300. Yup. I have a lot of questions I'd like to ask. This game is really good. And a lot of swear words I'd like to yell. I'd also like to find the nearest incinerator and toss this journal in. Followed by my phone. And maybe followed by myself. But I can't do any of that. Maria's left me with this diary. If it's destroyed, they'll know I was the one who did it. Which would be its own admission of guilt. Which would land Sarah in the trash compactor anyway and me in a jail cell. And in the system, and my DNA on file to be matched to any number of previous. So I'm not going to panic. I'm going to do what I do best. Bluff, bet, bully, and brutalize my way through this. Now, viewing this all with that mindset, What have I actually learned? He didn't talk about plans for killing himself in his journal for the message. He sounded conflicted, not suicidal. David. Personal journal of David Asher with entries dating back to several years ago. Early entries describe how he and Helen Young used to drink from cheap liquor together from plastic cups to celebrate their victories. Later entries detail Sarah's early growth and David's feelings towards her. Last entry ends abruptly, dated a week ago. Who the hell killed you, man? But he did go to great lengths to get me to take Sarah. Why? The logical answer is because he knew he wouldn't be able to keep her. If he wasn't going to take his own life, was he afraid that someone else would? Man, what the hell? So how'd it go? Well, how should I put this? Didn't find shit. Oh, that's Fran. Didn't find shit. And now you have to go to trial with a bomb on your hands. And nobody must know. Great. Great. And we only have one trial day. Only reason she ever got to a door is because I chased that scarecrow of platinum plan through hell and back. Frankly, it was a godlike feat for me to nail down anything as concrete as an address for these dogs? Gogs? What the hell is that word? Net slang term growing in popularity among adolescents, referring to a suspected spy or, groundhog. So, G-hog? Ah yes, Morgan's adoptive child. Yeah, we'll call it that. That's probably simpler than whatever the hell is going on here. A burrowing... Oh, they're defining groundhog? Oh, I guess there's places that groundhogs do not live. So I guess explaining what a groundhog is could be helpful. Derived from groundhog, a burrowing rodent known for standing erect on its hind legs when scanning its surroundings for predators. The term carries a negative connotation, with the implication being that the subject is doing a poor job of blending in. Oh, funny. Morgan's stray dog. Yeah, that makes more sense. Easy G-hog spotted. Who has a blank baseball cap to a protest? Oh! Yeah. I was gonna say like one of those pictures that people send around of like really obvious undercover cops. That's what a G-hog is. More of a cat. Yeah, more of a stray cat. And their offices weren't listed on the building's website or directory, so I had to ask the janitor. But you did find a psychiatrist's office? Sort of. They said they were, and the place, it, looked the part? Why, because they had couches? She didn't get past the receptionist. Sorry, I thought because you're with the company. No, I wanted to help. I just wish I could have done more. Don't beat yourself up. It's hard to be even half as useful as I am. For what it's worth, the atmosphere, the looks, the furniture, it did feel like the company in there. But ultimately, we still don't know if David's actually was talking to someone or just getting his CCE training recertified. Psychiatrist? Supposedly met with a psychiatrist on more than one occasion, but the said psychiatrist worked in an office that reminded Jess of Noble and took Fran hours to locate. Remains unclear whether he was receiving coaching in counter-corporate espionage practices or if he was getting genuine psychiatric care. Fuck. Sorry. Don't bother apologizing. She only cares about results. You did more than enough, both of you. At the very least, they divided Noble's attention for a while. I mean it. Good work, Fran. And thanks for the urgency. If you really mean that, you could always throw in a tip. 30%'s the going rate in my industry. How about I take 5% off your tab instead? Tab? I'm a minor. The state pays for my legal fees. Don't they? Oh no, signal must have cut out. Right. Surprised it took them this long. What do you mean? You were tolerated yesterday because leadership was focused on PR. But today, you're the lawyer who put the company's hottest product right in the state's crosshairs. I'll be all right. I'm still an officer at the court. On a strict timeline, though, right? I guess they can't stop you from investigating the corporate campus, but they'll gladly lose your guest pass ID at every door along the way. There are still service passages and stairwells. Guards that can be fooled and peons that can be manipulated. If I use my other skill set to get around. So take mine. What? Your pass? I'll tell him we got ours mixed up in the bathroom or whatever. I can be a pretty convincing klutz when I need to be.
Jess, you are a hero. Oh my god. She's the best. I love Jess Starling. Shout out to heterosexual Jessica. Shout out to heterosexual Jessica. I hope you score a date with London or something. I never would have guessed. But if David knew that I was endangering your career, I can be a pretty convincing crybaby when I'm in trouble too. Besides, the one and only Dr. David Asher wrote me a new glowing letter of recommendation every quarter I worked for him. Since he kept forgetting that he already had. Oh my god, I love her. Want to know something funny with Jessica's name? Is she named after Clarice Starling? If it wasn't already said. My guess is she's named after Clarice. And who knows? Maybe I should try a new field. This detective work stuff is pretty fun, so maybe, like, I don't know, secretary for a homicide detective or something? Just please, 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 please be a secretary. Please, that'd be so funny. I want this for you so bad. I don't know how London feels. It doesn't matter right now. That I do not know. Well, then I still want to know the fun fact. In the last trail, Jess was called for stalling. Oh, that's fun. You did say cops are all lazy. A girl with managerial skills could go far. Hetero Jessica moment. Go for it, girl. Honestly, Jess, I doubt they could afford you. Oh, hey, this guy. Morgan, how did you get so turned around? God only knows. Lucky I found my way here, though. It's such a relief to see a familiar face. Right. Jessica Starling, just Starling. Really clever. That's cute. Listen, Morgan, I'm not sure that I should actually be talking to you without legal present. Oh. I mean, leadership hasn't even told us how David died. How much help could I be? I see. It's not that I don't trust you or anything. I think, what, with the Sarah issue? You should do whatever you have to protect yourself, Dawes. Yeah, what was Dawes' first name? Evan. Evan Dawes. Though, for what it's worth, I doubt you'll be in any trouble. Oh, that's good to hear. I love the stupid little Daijobu cat thumbs up. Oh, this guy. If a wet cat had a human body, yeah, this guy like just got fished out of a body of water. No, if anything, it's the big names who are going down. Going down? State was practically licking its lips when I finally left the courthouse last night. They're hungry for blood. And looking to carve out a huge slice of Noble's flesh. Sorry, I just remembered that at the trial, Emma said that we had teeth and like now is like actually giving Morgan some credit. Like literally Morgan's having like a senpai noticed me moment. Is where I'm at. What? Like fines and jail time? In the first 2 weeks, sure. Then sanctions. They can't sanction Noble. We're too big to fail, too valuable to lose. You're exactly right. That's what they'll say. And that's how they'll justify nationalizing the company. I think I'm gonna be sick. Senpai said I had teeth, so I started biting. Sanctions! Okay. Sanctions are sanctions. They're a key tool in statecraft international negotiations. Under certain conditions, the state may choose to place sanctions not on an organization, but on an individual, thereby preventing them from exchanging currency issued by that nation or withdrawing funds from banks that operate within that country's borders, effectively freezing all their assets and possibly preventing them from leaving the country. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Oh, weird. Just saved. I just hope your board goes quietly instead of what? Scapegoating, offering up smaller names on silver platters. Full cooperation and government oversight on the surface, a slaughter beneath as they clean house and rip out anyone who could testify. No one will believe you once you're labeled as a disgruntled former employee, right? And if the public's lost faith in the Animate 16, they can't do a recall, not at this scale. The state will make them do a flat refund. Flat refund? Losses would be... Yeah, your board probably just wants Sarah to go away so they can focus on their fight with the state. A tough fight, but one they know they won't personally have to risk anything in. That's why I'm hoping I can win this trial. Well, if I won, that would mean Sarah's not an AI. David Asher was always of sound mind, and there's nothing wrong with the Animate 16. Everyone wins. Sorry, what am I saying? I only meant to stop by and thank you for your help yesterday. After all, you were the one who approved Sarah's registration. You win. Win what? Ask away. Well, if you insist. Ooh, Morgan. I love her. Okay, noble and AIs. Humor me for a moment. What's the company's official statement on AI? Same as any rational company that wants to make money, we don't screw with it. Smart products are profitable. Products with their own priorities are anything but. That being said, AI is a concern for marketing, not product development. We spend a lot of money reassuring our public that there's no risk, because the public doesn't really understand how ironclad the tenets are. Because you use Tesseract? Trying to code an AI in Tess is like trying to pick yourself up and throw yourself. Nonsensical and self-defeating. Your scanner showed that Sarah was running on Tesseract yesterday. If the language is as safe as you say, isn't that proof enough? Proof of nothing. For an AI, lying to another system about the code you're running is child's play. And for an AI built by David Asher, something that simple would be... Better change the subject. Wait, so making an AI takes more than time and resources? It isn't an issue of funding? No, you can't just keep adding more data. The tenets underlie everything. The higher you stack, the more easily you'll topple. You make it sound like building an AI is impossible, even for David Asher. Any chance you'll testify to that? It sounds impossible, but he's dead and it looks like it was his android that did it. So I guess he was just that good. Better than you'll ever know. 300 AI, David. 300. Noble spent months promoting the A16 as the culmination of David Asher's work. So now that that marketing line is suddenly a huge liability, can you tell me how much he actually contributed? I mean, he was involved in pretty much every step of the process, but his design for synthetic motor neurons, that was the big one. Oh, fuck. The components that allow your warm androids to move realistically? It pushed the timetable for warm androids ahead by years. And yet, compared to what goes on in Sarah's brain 1,000 times a second, David was only giving the company the most meager of the fruits that his private work bore. So if Noble ever did find out how much he and his assistants had achieved, they would feel that he had been holding out on them. And the company, they were appreciative of his contributions. I'm sure the researchers that he overtook by leaps and bounds weren't pleased. But the board was very enthusiastic. So, would that spur them to be protective of David? Or would they fear that he was gaining too much influence, becoming irreplaceable? No. They'd need a strong motive to justify killing their golden goose. Mere paranoia isn't enough. With these people, it has to be the bottom line. And the easiest way for them to threaten their bottom line would be screwing with their androids. In light of all that's happened, one has to wonder if the A16 is compromised. I stayed up all night, sick with dread at the idea. But the data just doesn't support it. Sales have been strong. And the A16 base code was locked in over 2 quarters ago. If there were an issue, we would have caught it by now. And I would have been axed a long time ago. How many A16s are out there anyway? We just passed 9 million sold. Not flying off the shelves like the 14 or 15 so far, but the profit margin makes up for it. You mentioned data? Yeah, practically got the spreadsheet seared into my retinas. What do you want to know? Oh, that was definitely Dawes, wasn't it? Yeah, what do you want to know? Error reports. What do the error reports look like? Are customers reporting a lot of issues? Error counts are markedly low compared to the last gen. Mostly hardware complaints, it looks like. Batteries running out too quick, eye tracking off by a degree or two. Typical stuff. As cliched as it sounds, 99% of these things get fixed once they turn auto updates back on. So no killer robots getting filed away under bug reports. Okay, distribution patterns. How and where are they being sold? What's the distribution pattern look like? They're distributed like you'd expect. Places where there are more people, there are more androids. Coastal cities like ours, of course, have the most of both. And since the A16 in particular is marketed as being relatively luxury, relatively consumer, they don't sell well outside of population centers. They can do the rural hard labor jobs, but cold models can do the same work with a lot less maintenance. So where has the A16 outperformed then? Customer service, healthcare, childcare, lots of hospitals, offices, and, you know, adult industries. Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to be blunt, I just... No, it makes sense. They're warm and soft to the touch and obedient. I'm just surprised to hear it from a company employee. There are a lot of people at the company who won't talk about it. But I work in quality assurance. I've seen too many damages to pretend it's not happening. Damages? What we call it when a customer tries to return a product that's clearly broken beyond repair. Oh. Very high turnover in the pink market. Hasn't stopped you from selling to them. Well, we don't sell to them, not directly. But there are resellers, and the company's never pretended to be interested in going after them. Are there resellers? I thought I read that right to repair got shut down again. Hey, we read that on the datapad. There's been a gray market for softer androids for years or decades, depending on your definition of android. Based on the sales numbers I've seen, RTR getting canned was barely a blip on their radar. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable with this topic. Huh? Me? No, I don't care. I just realized my left sock's on inside out. Damn, now I'm wondering about that myself. He bought that? This floor is basically a showroom, but you have a real factory a while south of the city limits, correct? Yeah, biggest company manufacturing complex in the hemisphere. Got any data on the shipping out of there? Anything stand out? There's some prep work for the holiday bump, looks like. Might sound early to get started now, but we usually see... Huh. Something wrong? No, the numbers are all normal, but the data has been edited. Is that unusual? Well, this section's just a count of how many were sent where. There's not a lot of room for errors, so there shouldn't be much need for corrections. It's no problem, though. I can view the edit history and see what was fixed. Okay, that's weird. Was something added? Deleted? No, the overall sum's the same. It's just a bunch of... swaps. Like here, a bunch of numbers taken out, return for adjustments, bunch of other numbers substituted in, shipment leaves on time. So many numbers. Return to assembly for revisions, replaced by this other one. Shipment leaves on time. So does all that strike you as odd, Mr. Dawes? Replacements before shipping isn't uncommon, but when it happens by the batch load. To spot individual unit imperfections among a shipment at that stage in the process? It must have been someone with a lot of experience or authority. Probably both. Must have. You don't know who made these changes? I can tell you they were somebody important. Small last-minute changes to which androids got shipped out. Not very juicy on its own, and it's a long ways away from explaining why someone would want to kill David. But it was hidden, and that means someone didn't want it found. I was going to say, what's happening to those specific androids, I wonder? Shipping information... Okay, thanks for sharing that data. Sure. Did you find what you were looking for? Hell if I know. Fair enough. I know you're convinced the tenants are safe. What did David do with his 300 kids? Yeah, I'm wondering that too. Where are they? So, how do you square that with what happened to David? There's a cat next to a dog. First answer that comes to mind. Is the dog to the left or to the right? Wait, what? I'd say the dog is on the right, the cat is on the left. You might expect half of people to say left, half to say right. No, I think more people are going to say it's on the right because the dog was listed second. Yeah, what reading direction is probably going to be what determines that. But actually their answer is almost entirely dependent on their native tongue. Whether it's read right to left or left to right. Yeah, see? The language they speak affects how they process information. Their language affects how they think. And it's the same for machines. People can learn new languages and it can change our perspective. But machines can't learn a new source code. Every update's a reincarnation. If that android did kill David, it wasn't because a 0 returned as a 1 somewhere. It's because there's something fundamentally wrong with it. And personally, I think it's cruel to bring something that flawed into the world. Yeah. Unnecessarily cruel. Any other questions before I go find a hole to hide my head in? I'd like you to take a look at this. Chemistry's a little outside my purview. What is this? A compound found in David Asher's blood. The poison? What is it? Poison. It didn't match anything in any database and the medical examiner had access to. It's crazy. Here's a crazy idea to follow it up. See if it's a match for anything in Noble's internal databanks. We don't make poison here. I'm not sure what that would accomplish. No, but this is a factory floor. You could be making baby blankets out there. You'd still have hazardous materials around. You think it was something industrial? Suppose it could be. Looks like it's carbon-based. Narrows it down a lot. Does it? It's not exactly... What is it? It doesn't make any sense, but it's a match for this stuff. Is it the blood? A synthetically produced neurotransmitter analog for usage in organic android components. Serotonin. Yeah. Not the blood, but it's serotonin. Man. Interesting. We couldn't find that? Is it copyright protected? That was why we couldn't find it? That explains a lot. A neurotransmitter would interact directly with the nervous system. In David's case, depressing it enough to put his life in danger. That does make sense. So it's not a drug, it's not a poison. It also explains why it was a preset in his personal nanofacturer.
Sarah's nervous system, worth 10 times its weight in platinum, must be pumped full of it. So they think that was what killed him? Helen Young led the development of serotonin, didn't she? Yes, she did. I should go and ask her about its composition then. Normally someone at her level wouldn't be able to answer specific questions about a compound formulated years ago. But she does have a reputation for being very detail-oriented. That works out nicely then. They say she's the type of person to micromanage how much water people drink at a 15-minute stand-up. I heard a rumor that she once said bathroom breaks are timesheet theft. Yeesh. Aren't they? Morgan! I'm kidding. But you should be careful about criticizing a superior where people could be listening. Good thing we've got privacy in your office. No one but the two of us listening in. Thanks for cooperating, Dawes. When the state storms the building and starts zip tying people, I'll let them know that you were helpful. Yeah, nice joke. You are joking, right? One more thing. Actually, there is one more thing I wanted to ask you. Columbo, who? What's that? How long have you been a corporate spy? What? Yesterday, that you let it slip that you worked in consulting. Had your guard down because I'm not part of the industry. I was a consultant. What are you talking about? When I walked in here, you said you didn't know how David died. But just now you called serotonin a poison. What? I just assumed if a chemical was found in a dead band. And I'm sure you've got practiced answers to every logical point I could raise, so I'll just say this. Does the nervous guy bit really work on people? Keep your cool and people don't know what you're thinking. But if you act a little jumpy, they feel inclined to calm you down. Before they know it, they're spilling their guts just to have something to fill the silence with. But it's not entirely an act these days. To answer your question, I did 3 tours in consulting. What, Cat? But what happens when it dries up? Oh my god, that's really good. 3 tours in consulting is hilarious, like he's doing military tours. Oh, his sprites are different. 4 quarters of internal affairs, spy hunting at the Western Division, then 8 embedded at Howe Industries. 24 months wearing different faces, answering to different names, sleeping for 1 hour at a time with a 3D printed shiv under my pillow. My nerves are completely shot. My cover wouldn't last a day if I went back under. So you're a spy for Noble. Retired. You're working 6 days a week. 5.5 days a week, and in quality assurance. Did you catch it when Helen talked about spies? She asked about consulting versus, like, a consultant versus in consulting, I'm pretty sure. Did we get a new thing? No, I don't think so. That does sound like a military tour when he says it like that. Yeah. Trust me, this position is a cushy, generous reward for my past services. Well, you can't be that retired. You clearly know more than you're letting on. I have some old inboxes I still check. So can you tell me what the hell is happening around here? Why I'm the one investigating David's death while your old coworkers are off twiddling their thumbs? It's that story. The soldier, the blood transfusion. Blood, not Occident. He's finally shooting straight. Did something happen to him afterwards? Did the transfusion not last? Yes, but that was said after he said he was in consulting. I don't remember. It's been a week, man. No, there's nothing wrong with the blood. It's the story itself. There was a soldier and he did get injured. But it was on a base during a training exercise. There was a medical tent 10 meters away the whole time. The transfusion was just a fortuitous live test. His life was never in any danger. Oh. Doesn't make for much of a tearjerker. Not even a good photo op. Which our competitors understood. One of them, maybe a few of them, got a hold of the story, started puffing it up, astroturfing, painting over socials and virals. By the next morning, we had the military thinking we're leaking like a sieve. Meanwhile, the media is bombarding us with requests for videos and interviews and data. And the state's praising our tech with one side of their mouth while threatening to mist us with the other for getting so greedy. Everyone in Noble CCE has been getting slammed ever since. Trying to find an off-ramp for the story we can walk back the claims on without torpedoing our state contracts. I don't know what happened to Asher, whether it was AI gone rogue or company infighting gone too far. But I can tell you it wasn't done by consultants. Oh, we got an achievement. Neck deep in consulting. That all you wanted to know? Psychiatrist. You worked in CCE. Was David actually seeing a psychiatrist, or was it all cloak and dagger bullshit? I know that office. Know some old co-workers who see them. So it's a front? They do both. So he was probably getting training, and he was probably talking to someone. Sorry, not the answer you were hoping for. Hoping? I wasn't hoping for any answer. The answer I expected was... You okay? That's all. Unless you've got any advice. You're saying you want a consultation? Couldn't hurt, right? This company, all companies hate to lose. So don't fight them. Make them think you're fighting for them. Well, that's just business as usual for me. Man! This game's great. Oh shit. Oh, this is the elevator, never mind. Up until now, there's been this grating ambiguity about what actually killed David. We've had to use guesses and process of elimination and even a goddamn pseudonym. But I finally identified what the poison was. Now I just need to figure out how it got there. Or rather, who put it there. Yeah, I'm still lost, man. Which brings me back to here. An elevator shaft somewhere under or above ground, with kilometers of concrete facelessness and bureaucratic authority surrounding me on all sides. An enemy in every cubicle and every office of every floor of this temple. Built to interpret the inscrutable divinations of a temperamental oracle named Share Price. Back in the belly of the beast. I love when her dialogue gets so film noir-y. And yet I feel more at ease now than I have all weekend. Makes sense. Now that I know Noble's my enemy, I know where to aim. All that's left to do is pull the trigger. Good thing I didn't bring a knife to this fight. I brought my gun. And that sound just now tells me it's playing its role perfectly. I'll never have a real use for a firearm with this much bloatware. But just by carrying it around and paying attention to when the hard safety flips on, I'll always get a heads up when the police haven't entered the vicinity. That's fun. I mean, like, it's not, but, like, it's fun to know that. Hi, Detective Reyes. It's Morgan. Happened to get your contact info when you got me cleared for the crime scenes yesterday. Delete contact. Block this contact. Stop voice to text. How to stop voice to text. Just wanted to check in. Report this contact voice to text disable. And advise you that Noble's scared shitless of you stomping in and nationalizing the place. So they might be a little uncooperative when it comes to fetching documents. Block this contact. What makes you think we are at Noble? My bad then. Forget I said anything. And whatever you do, don't start your investigation with their stock buyback program. Trying reverse psychology, it only works if I care what you think. Stop voice to text. Morgan's phone nicknames are so cute. I love Chuckles, yeah. Oh. About time. Thought I'd have to ride the elevator for the next half hour. Morgan, counselor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors. Deja vu. I've been in this place before. Might you have a moment to speak in private? Always. But who's asking? The board. What are the chances? I've been wanting to speak with them too.
Ooh. Oh, hey.
Evangeline Morgan.
Helen Young.
Thank you for making time in your schedule.
Her posture, her tone, the fold of her clothes. Professional, dialed up to 11. Corporate armor, a full set. Her guard is up. I feel like it could still have been Helen, though I'm pretty doubtful. Just Morgan is fine.
You're just a few minutes early, Morgan.
Typical corporate, never be the first one to show up. Pissing contest nonsense. Doesn't even make sense. They called me in here. How could I possibly be early? Play their game, flip their script. Oof. I mean, she's noble. I think we need to play their game. Pardon me in that case. 1,000 apologies, you voyeuristic rat-racing hollowheads, but I'm immune to your corporate posturing. If anything, knowing that you're all watching me right now, pretending to be busy with something else, just makes your cowardice that much more apparent. So who exactly will be joining us?
You don't have time to remember their names, and it won't do you much good, either.
Right, so they're not just rich, they're anonymous rich.
The Mob Act guarantees a minimum level of security and peace of mind for any citizen who might be targeted due to their financial status.
Mob Act? Intended to protect the safety of individuals with income above the 99th percentile? Fuck off. I also love that it's not the 1%, it's above the 99%. Like they flipped it. I love language. Technology helps. Not be prejudiced against because of their financial status. Okay. Economic uncertainty and civil unrest in the late 2050s led to a series of highly publicized crimes wherein corporate executives at a number of high-profile companies were stalked, harassed, and assaulted in net organized flash lynchings. Okay. That's terminology. After a particularly chaotic attack that resulted in the hospitalization of a 14-year-old. The PRAA was proposed. Is this 14-year-old the victim of the so-called flash lynching, or was this collateral damage, though? And if it was collateral damage, who did it? It's been gone to trial since 2062. Some economists have pointed to its promise of anonymity as to why the nation has enjoyed a relative resurgence in corporate immigration over the last few decades. Because somebody could theoretically seek asylum here and then continue to make money, right? But the purposely obscured nature of the law's implementation have made the task of weighing its true economic impact effectively impossible. I was going to say a lot of corporations also probably move their headquarters over to a place where the rich people are protected. Oh, we already saved. Spoken like a true believer. Except Mob Act is what normal people call it. Touting the party line, but allowing yourself one instance of rebellion? Or just a slip of the tongue. I would never fault anyone for wanting their privacy, especially not job creators. But it must get pretty inconvenient not having a name to call them.
Not really. Conversations with them are always one-sided.
Sounds like a great environment to do business in.
Look at the building you're standing in. We managed to eke out a meager profit somehow. So if it works...
Didn't take you for the might makes right type.
And I didn't take you for a clueless bore incapable of reading the room.
Sorry, did I say something off color? I was only being casual since it's just the two of us in here. Maybe we should take advantage of this rare bit of privacy. Clear the air. 14-year-old injured in person above the 99th income percentile involved confrontation.
You're here to ask about Sarah, yes? As I said before, I had no idea that Dr. Asher had been building an android on his private property. And I can say here and now that no one at Noble Electronics ever suspected that he was working to undermine the Tenet framework. She's trying to sound candid in her tone, but she's choosing her words with a surgeon's scalpel. Was she coached? Is that the truth, or is that your statement as VP of Android Futures? It's both, of course. Dr. Asher was always more than happy to hold himself up and work independently. We both know that. True, he could be pretty reclusive. I'm sure it caused all kinds of headaches, him disappearing on you all like that. Must have been especially difficult when he came back with breakthroughs that propelled Noble to the top of the industry. You should take a seat. If that's everyone, shall we begin? Oh my god. Friendly bunch. Is there a problem with the sound? Anyone get muted by accident? No. Okay. Thanks for having me. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm actually a bit flustered having you all show up here. I didn't expect to talk to anyone higher up than a service associate. You're investigating the death of Dr. David Asher. Why wouldn't we take that seriously? Because you want me to go away? At least half of you do. The others aren't sure yet. You must be confused. The board is, as always, united in its decisions and its visions for the direction of this company. Uh-huh. A board of directors is just 13 roulette rolling psychopaths who get together and vote on whether or not to execute their CEO every 6 months. None of them would be where they are if they were anything else. But I happen to know how that kind of person thinks. The way I see it, there are two possible outcomes. Option 1, you oppose me. Shut me out completely, stonewall me, stall me, and wait for me to walk into trial so unprepared and ill-informed that I inevitably lose. Obviously, I don't like this option. But you can't be big fans of it either. If I lose, the world will learn that David Asher was killed by an android he programmed. Then every customer you've ever had, and every lawyer they've ever seen on TV, and every firebrand strapping young 60-year-old junior senator looking to make a name for themselves will use your company balance sheet as their personal chew toy. The company is more than capable of, after which the state still might just gobble you whole and throw down enough sanctions to deperson whomever among you cries no fair. The company and its allies at the Capitol can more than fend for themselves. Yes, probably, but not definitely. Which makes it a gamble. Still my turn to talk? Then on to option 2. You cooperate with me. I use what you give me, or forge for me, to win at trial, proving that David wasn't killed by an android. When the markets open tomorrow morning, you all get another round of stock buybacks on the initial dip. Then pat yourselves on the back for staying calm as you continue to profit off David's legacy for the next 100 years. And you won't even have to worry about him speaking out of turn. That's only if you win. If the company cooperates with you, denies that David was killed by, and the state beats you anyway, it would be catastrophic. Yeah, it's a gamble. But if at least some of your board wasn't considering taking it, I wouldn't be here. We're all busy people, and I'd hate to drive a wedge between such a close-knit group of friends, so how about this? Option 3, hedge your bets. What? Put a little on black, put a little on red, spread the love, and lower your risk profile. Don't make any statements about the trial. Tell the media the state's got your windpipe in a vice. Wait until just before the markets open on Monday morning to send out your PR packages for rubber stamping. After you already know who's won. One way or another, this trial will be over before the end of the day, and you'll never hear from me again. So just don't shut me out completely for another few hours. And does anyone second that motion? Very well. We can answer some of your questions, counselor. Better make them count then. No reason to be shy now. The poison that has killed David Asher has been identified as synatonin. You're familiar? It's one of our many patented materials, as I recall. You recalled it pretty easily yesterday. Gee, what's changed? But intellectual property law can be very complex, counselor. I'm not sure how much I or anyone at the company could tell you about synatonin at this time.
Well, if you can't tell me about it, who could? You did lead its development, didn't you?
Yes, I oversaw the project, which just makes it that much harder for me to speak freely without compromising the confidentiality of the teams that reported to me.
I understand. It sounds like bullshit and I don't believe it. But I'm not asking for trade secrets here. It's a perfect match for the only foreign substance found in his blood. Synatonin is what killed him. The state will say the same.
That's not possible.
Care to elaborate?
I'm sorry, but I can't say any more at this time.
So much for cooperating. And if I were to ask you as an officer of the court?
Then I would ask you to be patient and wait until this afternoon. ADA Rockford has already called me to testify.
Already? Damn it. I got cocky because of the cop's late arrival. Emma must have gone straight for the throat first thing this morning and left the investigating for later. Hell, knowing her, she probably managed to ID the synatonin before she went to bed last night. So are we having this conversation then?
As I said, I'm sorry. But I have to take more than just my personal feelings into consideration here. There's a great deal at stake.
Corporate speak where you're too stupid to understand why I'm being dense. She's just trying to shield the company, plain and simple. LARPing is Helen Young Dark on a crusade against government overreach. But if she's that busy defending Noble, she might be leaving herself unguarded. Why is she here anyway? Why am I speaking to her and not her lawyers? Okay, that Joan of Arc pun makes me think it is actually Jung. Because Helen Jung d'Arc flows better. Instead of Jung like the, as in the Carl. Why is she here anyway? Why am I speaking to her and not her lawyers? That's right, this is a vulnerable position for her. She wouldn't put herself in check like this. Not unless she was forced to. So that's it. Acting as their mouthpiece isn't some honor for her. I'm gonna save because this is going to get scary. This is a punishment. She's being used as a meat shield. They're upset with her, perhaps even suspicious of her. Time to find out why. Okay. David's will, jealousy, Sarah. Has David's will been located?
It had never gone anywhere. It's still in a safety deposit box.
Surprise out-of-court blackjack. Yeah, fuck.
We'll retrieve it and have it read once all the unknowns surrounding his death have been made into knowns.
So David's will hasn't even become part of the equation yet? It might not be for weeks at this rate. Is that calculated though? Oh. Aren't you dragging your feet? Stay for a second. I want to read through all of these. Whatever else the court ends up labeling her, Sarah is a remarkably lifelike android. Had things worked out differently, you might have wanted her as the A16 poster girl. Or A17 or 18. Could have driven a lot of sales, her cute little pout projected across the sides of skyscrapers.
A hypothetical of a hypothetical. As has been made tragically obvious to all of us, that android is nothing like the A16. That it may yet be associated with our products going forward is nothing more than a massive liability.
Yet you wouldn't have the A16 without her, and if they could take her apart and learn from her, they could have the world. So was the motive to try and pry Sarah away from him? Trying to monopolize Sarah? Stay for a second. I have to admit, I'm surprised you aren't more shaken up today, Miss Young.
I'm processing.
After all, you and David did have a history. You started at the same time, didn't you?
Yes. We were colleagues and cordial with one another. Just colleagues?
Yeah, I want to press that.
Don't be so modest. You helped him create the one-point doctrine that saved the company. That is a gross exaggeration. Noble is far too large an organization to be affected by the contributions of any single individual. Suppose you're right. No one person could change Noble's fortunes overnight. Except for David Asher, of course. But he was a once-in-a-generation talent. The guy Noble chose for the advertisements and the one they commissioned editorials about. Sorry, you're right. I shouldn't have equated the two of you. I just hoped his one-point doctrine doesn't fall out of favor now that he's gone. Yes, well, we certainly wouldn't want that. Well, she didn't exactly explode with rage, but she definitely reacted. There's a real jealousy there. Whether it ever boiled over, though? I didn't mean to pry about your relationship with David, or lack thereof. I suppose I'm just curious about his standing inside Noble as a whole. David Asher was, and always will be, an outstanding contributor to the company's forward progress. Nothing will ever change that.
Not even if he was killed by one of his own creations?
That would, of course, be a tragic element that would call for reconsideration of his legacy. She was almost off guard there. Like she was surprised for me to be asking about Sarah ruining his reputation. Fuck it. Besides Sarah, David's reputation was crystal clean. He never went against the company once. Did he? That's... Unless I'm mistaken and he and Noble were on bad terms. In that case, I might get the impression that some parts of leadership were actually glad to see him taken off the chessboard. That is not... Something buzzing in your ear? Fine. I suppose it makes no difference if you hear it now or at the trial or on your feed tomorrow. Dr. David Asher was being sued by the company for breach of contract. Satisfied? Now we're talking. Well then, I suppose that's...
Blackjack. That was a good blackjack. That really made up for the first one that I did. The first one that I did was bad. There we go. Okay, I'm getting the hang of it.
So you couldn't have mentioned this breach of contract earlier? Not without complicating the company's position unnecessarily, no.
I want to scan over his contract really quick. And save also. Contract. Oh, we didn't. It was too big. We don't have any details.
But there's no hiding it at this point. It'll all come out soon enough.
There's a paper trail?
Much more than that. We'd been making moves to let him go for some time.
Noble Electronics parting ways with David Asher. Must have been one hell of a breach of contract. What did he do?
He betrayed the confidence of the board.
Was he contesting the suit? Putting up a fight? Engaging in a legal battle against a mega corporation without even telling me?
Until recently, yes.
You mean until he died? How recently?
We spoke on Friday.
That was what you two talked about in his parlor?
No, this was earlier in the day. We were in this room, actually. Him, me, and several members of our legal department. It was an arbitration.
And did you come to an agreement?
A compromise. He would resign from his position in 2 quarters, foregoing royalties on any products we would develop after the next 24 months. In exchange, he wouldn't be publicly fired, and he would still be credited on all past, present, and future filings.
How very reasonable. On paper, maybe. No matter what the deal was, letting go of David Asher is insanity.
Reasonable, yes. We ended on a good note, I'd like to think. We shook hands. Even took a photo.
Jeez. Yeah, that looks lovely. Oh, look at the cute little flower in his hair. Something funny? Didn't know the board told jokes.
They don't. That was legal expressing their displeasure with how much paperwork my good note ending left them stuck with. Children. It was just one night of overtime. So, while they're spending their Friday night blowing the ink dry, you paid a visit to David's penthouse? Something left unfinished? Professionally, it was a good meeting. There was no yelling, no finger-pointing. Much cleaner than expected. But Dr. Asher did not want to retire. He didn't want to be forced out of the company when he was the one who... when he had contributed so much. He has an orange scrunchie that matches Sarah's barcode. Cute. Oh, I wish we could look at this closer. Unfortunate. David Asher met with Helen Young and a team of noble lawyers to set the terms of his resignation on the afternoon he died. Young set up the meeting and controlled every aspect from the refreshments to the timing, in line with co-workers' descriptions of her detail-oriented personality. I didn't enjoy doing that to him, so I came over that night to apologize to him. We talked, reminisced. When he brought out the drinks, I thought we'd be toasting to a new day. A few minutes later, he was dead. Because of that AI. That AI? Any idea how it came to be? As I said, I had no idea he was working on it. My question was more broad than that. If you really believe David built an AI, how do you think he did it? How does Noble Electronics think he managed to work around the tenets? It's quite beyond my area of expertise. And no one at the company could call themselves an expert in illegal technology. But some in the R&D department have theorized that he created what they call a wax-wane decaying priority loop. Which, as I understand, is an unstable, resource-intensive, theoretical method for pseudo-randomizing the weight amongst preset tenets.
Well, about as far off target as it gets with that guess.
But that kind of inelegant brute force nonsense seems a far cry from the kind of thing David would create, and I seem to have taken us over our allotted time slot.
But I didn't even get to wave goodbye.
You're serious about this trial?
Don't I look it?
You're not just making a play. You're actually going to defend that thing?
I'm just defending myself, Miss Young.
Oh, yes, of course you are. My mistake.
I hoped you might be rooting for me to tell you the truth. I may yet save everyone's stock options.
Stock options will be all right either way. They always are.
That gamble I offered your board, which outcome would you bet on?
Finally, an easy question. What I would bet is that whatever the outcome, the company will eat it up and shit it out with very little difficulty. You painted an ugly picture back there, but I've already seen the future. And it's just another marketing gimmick. The great Dr. Asher, too smart, too bold, too far ahead of his time. What spark of his genius remains buried in the inspired Animate 19?
I guess that depends on...
You are exactly right. He is more valuable to Noble as a dead man. Dead men can't step out of line or put their foot in their mouth or hold politically inconvenient opinions. To a good salesperson, a dead man is another selling point. Pardon my outburst. I'm just tired. It's been a very long week for me.
I'll let you prepare for your afternoon then, Dr. Young.
No one calls me doctor. I asked them not to.
You didn't want the title?
At times I have thought very little of it, the PhD I earned from a Noble-owned school.
Biochemistry. It couldn't have been a large department at Noble before they started work on warm androids in earnest. They probably didn't have many expectations for the program back when she was a part of it.
But I was proud of it when I first got it.
Something change?
It never seemed to catch on. People didn't use it, so eventually I told people not to use it. A very high IQ social power play, you understand.
David never insisted that people use it either.
That's very different, and I think you know it.
David Asher didn't have to.
I'm going into this trial, my trial, with a lot less ammunition than I'd like. I'm beginning to form a picture of what actually happened. Maybe even circling the drain on a suspect. But Emma won't be generous enough to give me breathing room. Hey, yo, she won't. Hey, what? Patriarchy. Patriarchy indeed. She'll want this to end fast. Maybe if I do badly enough, it'll flip her sadistic switch and she'll want to keep playing. Morgan, you gotta Morgan, you gotta stop saying things. I was gonna go back and talk about Helen and David. But Morgan keeps talking about Emma in ways. Anyway, what the fuck was I thinking about? Yeah, patriarchy. I really think either David or Helen could have been the, like, face of Noble, and David was the less logical option for them to pick, and they still did. I think it could have been Helen, and they did not pick her. Boy. Which? So you got charged with owning an AI. First time you do something exciting in your whole life. I don't remember the voice I gave her, and I gotta find out through the fucking grapevine. My life is plenty exciting. Freckles. You could bore the polish off a resume-checking robot. I've fucked Catholic school teachers with more active night lives than you. Morgan? Okay. So who'd you rope in? Anyone I know? Oh shit. Are you representing yourself? Fits within my budget. Screw your budget, you're going to jail. Thanks for the vote of confidence. It ain't a matter of how good a lawyer you are. Anyone who represents themselves in court has a fool for a counsel. You represented yourself countless times. Not for anything I had a chance of losing. Your pal hasn't even been dead 48 hours. You're too close to this. You'll make mistakes. The powers that be really didn't want to give me a rain check. They're taking this very seriously. It's more dangerous than that. They're scared. Is there a precedent? An ad committing murder? How'd you pass law school without learning to look this stuff up? I know what the net says. I'm asking you. The answer to that is not helpful to you at the moment. So what words of advice do you have? Get yourself a new lawyer. Gonna close this chat now. Don't lose, Freckles. You don't need to tell me that. Oh, Sarah. What are you reading, Adonai? I was reading David's employment contract with Noble Electronics before I got waylaid by spam texts. The one found inside the panic room? It looks quite extensive. Should I skim it for you? Depends. Did you pass the bar exam since we last spoke? Oh. You comfortable? I am not. Ever seen that? Oh, I didn't read it. Ever seen that old movie with the gorilla and the skyscraper? They bring it to the city and I understand the analogy, Adonai. Oops, wrong button. I wish I could call it overkill. But considering the specs Sarah put up yesterday, maybe those bindings aren't heavy enough. Come to think of it, those numbers must have been faked along with the rest of what the machine read. If that was all a smokescreen David added to help her lay low, then her actual strength is more like... If your joints weren't currently locked up tighter than a vice, do you think you could escape this place? I hope that question is not indicative of your strategy. This is me trying to distract you, Sarah. Enjoy the hypothetical. I would estimate that the building's automated security would put 9 holes in me before I reach that door. 9's not so bad. I would not be able to function after the 7th.
Well, if you haven't been planning some great escape.
I would not do that. That would be illegal. And you would still be on trial.
I remember. So what have you been doing all day then?
I'm attempting to recover memories from Friday.
You can do that?
It is not dissimilar from the process of recovering data erased from any other computer, despite the difference in scale. I won't be able to remember everything, but if successful, I could recall individual pieces of information that could prove useful.
That's a lot of coulds. And even if you're successful, you may not like what you find. Whatever happened that day, either you or David wanted you to forget it.
Yes. But even so, I have to remember. Because it's the last day that Father and I...
Any luck so far, then?
I can recall a slightly musty scent.
Wow, case closed.
What about you, Adonai? Have you formulated a plan for the trial's proceedings?
Something like that. Jung insists that serotonin isn't what killed David. I don't buy it. There's no other explanation for how he died. Sarah Dog Girl Corner +1.
So is she lying?
And if she repeats that lie on the stand, I'll need to expose it.
Somehow.
Somehow.
Would she really commit perjury to protect Noble? To protect one of Noble's patents?
She doesn't strike me as quite the corporate zealot she makes herself out to be.
But you believe that she had something to do with Father's death?
What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know why anyone would kill Father.
Considering the possible consequences of what he confessed to in his journal, I can think of...
But then again, I don't understand why anyone would kill anyone. Do you?
Bell's tolling for thee. Means the doors to the courtroom are unlocked. Let's... Wait, can you walk like that? Waddle will have to do. Wait a second. Across the hall, that's... Oh, shit. Keep waddling, Sarah. I'll catch up.
As you say, Adonai.
This'll be a coin toss. You that surprised to see me? I'm not surprised you'd want to see the outcome of this trial. I am surprised you'd want to talk to me. I did fuck up that social encounter real bad. You're defending the android, right? I'm gonna be honest, I feel bad. Yeah, I'm defending Sarah's innocence. I don't think she killed David. Do you? I don't think it matters. Noble is what killed David. Whether it was with a pen stroke or a sleeper agent, killer android, or a plain old goddamn arsenic bait. How could anyone that smart be that dumb? Why the hell did he ever sign his soul over to them? David may have been in over his head, but he wasn't a bad negotiator. I've read his contract. His position was strong. You're the lawyer. But a guy like me working in music, can't tell you how many people I've seen getting screwed over by a big smile and a fat signing bonus. No such thing as corporate generosity. If you think you're getting a good deal, it's only because you don't know how much you just sold. How much you just sold. David's real wealth lay in his intellectual property, the potential energy of it, hanging over the whole industry. If he sued even 1% of the companies taking inspiration from his Turing solution, there's a clause in his contract. If Noble ever did fire David, he would have retained control over all his patents afterwards. Yeah, see, that sounds nice. Only they never did fire him, did they? He just happened to die. An unforeseeable act of God. In contract law, they call that force majeure. And it's stuck on the screen. There we go.
I said, did you find anything interesting in the contract, Adonai?
A few things, yeah. Twitch has been fighting me. Oh no.
Basically, David was well taken care of so long as they kept him around. And he'd retain control of his patents even after being let go. What Porter said. Logically, if David were to pass while still employed, Noble would continue to control the bulk of his IP. How are you liking your odds? I think I'm alright. For now. So if they knew David was going to leave in a year, it would have been very foolish of them to let Father go. Well, they wouldn't do it for no reason. With his contract, he could only be fired for serious offenses. Corporate malfeasance, revealing trade secrets, fraud. Father was not a fraud. He was, as they say, the greatest of all time, Sarah. Fraud just means lying to the company about something, Sarah. What's the contract say? Okay. Including the following. David would keep ownership of his patents if terminated. David couldn't be terminated without serious cause. Serious cause includes only fraud or worse. Fraud defined as manipulating company data. Oh. Eyes up. Showtime. Counselor Morgan. The state charges you with possession of contraband. Contraband? That'd be you. In violation of the Safeguarding Our National Digital Security Act. How do you plead? Not guilty. Very well. Since it seems that we are, in fact, doing this, I'll now turn over the administration of this trial to the adjutant. But be warned, any attempts at stalling or muddling the issue, and I'll step right in and override the trial myself. Summary judgment, siding with the people. Are we understood? Yes, Your Honor. Are we going to have the same adjutant as we had before? No way. Each courthouse only has so many bodies, but the personalities swap around all the time. So the chances of us dealing with the same glitchy mess as yesterday are... Glad to be back! Did you miss me? Forget I said anything. I'll just go crawl under a rock and die while you make your opening statements. The defendant is the owner of the android registered under the model name Sarah, with license number 12029280. She hasn't contested this, and I doubt she will. So the question of ownership is already answered. All that remains is to determine whether Sarah qualifies as contraband. It's a charming android, incredibly well made, a masterpiece, and the last known work of a great man. But when we look at the evidence and the facts surrounding the death of Dr. Asher, we're forced to conclude that said android is responsible for his death. And that conclusion carries very serious implications. I will prove here in court that the machine standing there killed David Asher. Not through an accident or a mismanaged dosage, but through an intentional poisoning. I won't ask the court to judge this machine on its apparent sentience, its range of emotions, or the free will it may or may not possess. I only ask that the court judge this creation on what we prove it to be more than capable of. Patricide. Ooh. Woof, wouldn't want to have to follow that act. But go for it anyway, defense. Your Honor, what the DA said is true. What did she just say? Did she just admit it? Sorry, just the first part. This android is charming, and it is the work of a great man. Oh. The rest of it was pure speculation, based on little more than a few bad camera angles and a phobia of anything new. I do own the android you see here. It was bequeathed to me by a man known to most of the people in this courtroom as the father of modern machine intelligence. To me, he was just my friend. And if I thought at any point that this puppet had anything to do with his death, I would have dragged it to the chopping block myself. But I don't believe that. I never have. Sarah is an android, nothing more. It isn't capable of homicide, and it didn't even commit manslaughter. It's just a well-made machine. Any fears one has about its capabilities are projections, nothing more. And it troubles me greatly that the state is spending valuable time and resources on rushing to pulverize Dr. Asher's last known work, when it could be going after the very real, very human forces that were responsible for his death. Is she serious? Is she talking about Noble? The people can't prove that Sarah is an AI. And truth be told, I can't prove that it isn't. But I can prove that it's not guilty. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Chills. You sound very confident, Adonai. Yeah, well, no one ever got good at lying by being modest. You could have simply said thank you. All right. I am vocally very tired. We're at about 4 hours of stream, and I have an early morning tomorrow. So I'm going to call it here, and then we will do the meat of the trial on the next stream. I don't want to pause in the middle of the trial either, like I did last time, because then it ended up being like half trial, half investigation, and I would rather it be oops all trial. At least for the first part. Okay. Scheduling wise, what is coming up? This stream will not be on Friday next week because I am going to be at ASEN next week. So what we're going to be doing instead is Monday, I believe I am back with Cabernet as usual with my close good friend Trav. And then I think I am going to be doing more of the devil on Wednesday. I think that's going to be the move, to push it to my variety day. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week, I'm going to be at ASEN. I'm going to be at Anime Central all 3 days. You will be able to catch me as a lot of lawyer game characters and some fucked up women. Sometimes even both. Yeah. I will be at ASEN. Come find me at ASEN. I might even be potentially cosplaying a certain evil lawyer lady that we may have seen on the stream today. Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy? Anyway. Ugh. So yeah, I will be at ASEN. Other than that, other things. If you are not already a part of my Discord server, you should join my Discord server because we can yap about this game in the time that I am not streaming it. Also, other thing that I did not list on the schedule, Sundays, we've been doing a big rewatch of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood in my server, so we will be doing that this Sunday. Sunday following that, I'll be at ASEN, so I probably will not be back in time to do that, and once I am back home, I'll probably be completely exhausted. But this coming Sunday, we will be doing another watch party of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I think we're on episode, we just met Greed. We met Greed in our last one, so that's about where we're at. Yeah. All right. Who all is live right now that I can raid into at a semi-reasonable time? Is there anybody that I know personally? Good stream. Good stream. This was a fun stream. Thank you everybody for coming by. Thank you also Gamesite for the 10 gift subs. That was a crazy jump scare in the middle. So that was very, very nice. Who to raid? We are going to raid, Ada Lyra is live right now playing Garfield Kart, which is a game that I didn't know existed, so we're going to go for that, I guess. Arrived late, but thanks to them for the sub. Yeah, thank you so much Gamesite for providing that. That was very, very cool of them. Anyway, and I hope the subs encourage folks to stick around for more Evil Lawyer game and such. For more Evil Lawyer game and perhaps even Vampire Yuri. Why did I say Yuri like that? Alright, raid. We are going to go raid Ada Lyra, playing whatever the hell Garfield Kart is. Alright, and then I will see you guys back here on Monday or in my Discord server. And we will call it a night. I'm looking forward to more Evil Lawyer Yuri. Goodbye.